When you're smiling, when you're smiling, the whole world smiles with you. When you're laughing, oh, when you're laughing, the sun comes shining through. But when you're crying, you bring everyone down, you selfish son of a bitch. Get off the stage. Hey, happy Friday. How's everybody doing? Oh, it's been a brutal, brutal week. And let me say, for me at work, it was a brutal, brutal Friday. And I am so glad I've got the martini I've been looking forward to all week. Let me take a sip. Hold on a second. How you all doing? So glad you're all here with me on a Friday night. There is nowhere I would rather be than hanging out with my favorite people, like my beautiful wife, Netter of Netter's Network. Hello, love of my life. How are you? I'm so glad you're here.
Hello, husband. I love you too.
See, you don't even have to respond to me in the stream. You can just say it right out into the air and I can hear you. So can everyone else. Matthew Flynn, you're the first who's not sitting here with me right now. Aged Boomer, hello, hello, hello. Although you left that comment and then you went away, so I wasn't able to tag you. So, hey, how you doing? Schooner Tuna, it's good to see you, man. Good to see you. Let's see here. Trooper FN2525. You are a loyal friend. I'm so glad to see you. Oh, you are back, Agent Boomer. Good to see you. Good to see you. Okay, small group, but it's the regulars, and I'm so glad you're here tonight. So, I didn't really plan tonight out. I figured I'd leave it up to you guys. One thing that I was kind of kicking around. So last week, or maybe it was the week before, over on Midnight's Edge, they were talking with Hollywood insider and friend of the channel, Tom Conkle, who produced and directed a film that he got up on Amazon, and Amazon took it down. Because I don't know why Amazon does what they do. I hear that Sound Engraver was talking a little bit about some of the struggles she was having with Amazon. But, there was a loud outcry from the fan base. And looks like Amazon got it back up because the other day they did a rewatch of it, linking to Amazon. And I had suggested all those weeks back. I said, you know what we ought to do? Because it was still on Tubi. I said, what we ought to do is we ought to do a watch party. Everybody who's got a YouTube channel should do this, including Midnight's Edge, and just get everybody streaming it and doing as much engagement as they can, just to support Tom. And they thought that was such a great idea that Midnight's Edge said, we're going to make it an official thing, and we're going to get Tom Conkle on, and we're going to, have him do like a commentary track as we watch the show together. Well, between the time I made that suggestion and the time they actually did it, Amazon put it back up. So we were able to all stream it on Amazon, those of us that have Amazon Prime. And those that didn't just watched it on Tubi while Tom Conkle did his thing. And I was just thinking, you know what? I'd kind of like to honor that original idea. Maybe we do that tonight. But I'm going to leave that up to you because it's your stream, everybody. So let me know in the chat how you feel about that. Let me say hi to Joshua V, who just joined us. Hello, Joshua V. I'm so glad you're here with us. Let me take another sip of my beloved martini. Hold on just a second.
What's everybody else sipping on?
Yeah. Also, let me know in the stream what y'all are sipping on. I know Netter's drinking her diet
green tea citrus.
Diet green dry. Hey, diet. Wow. I have Netter, how much of this martini have I had to drink?
Like 2 small sips.
I've had 2 small sips. That can't possibly be why I'm stumbling over my words. She's having her regular, usual diet green tea.
Citrus.
Yes. But what are all the rest of you? Okay, Trooper is saying, yeah, it's a good idea.
I've already seen the movie. It is fantastic. It's one of those great noir films.
Yeah. So, Leia plus size, welcome, welcome, welcome. So we're thinking about doing a rewatch, but so far the only one that's kind of chimed in and said totally in on it is Trooper. Trooper is a real trooper. In fact, you know what, Trooper? Let me drop the link to this stream. I'd love to get you in here if you are so inclined. Give me just a second here.
It's that whole coordination thing.
Yeah, you got to be patient with me. I'm all hello. If you want to come in and join me, Trooper.
Yeah, so anybody that likes noir films, yeah, it's not as long as I guess a regular film. Wasn't it like only about an hour?
No, it wasn't long. Well, I don't know, because the stream on Midnight's Edge went on for like 4 hours, so I have no idea how long the actual movie was. Sir Torrin Clegane, so glad you could join us. Look, if we do this live stream, if we do this watch party, I will definitely drop links for you guys to watch the movie. If you are an Amazon subscriber, you can watch it easily the way the director intended, in black and white. If you are not, you're going to have to watch it on Tubi. You will run into commercials. We'll talk about how to deal with that when the time comes.
Color on Tubi?
It's in color on Tubi. I honestly have not watched the color version yet. I guess I'm very influenced by this whole concept of got to watch it the way the director intended. At least that's my thought. But yeah. So Trooper, if you want to join me in the studio, I dropped a link in your MeWe. And
Agent Boo wants to know what it's called.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you guys are starting to get interested. We're probably going to end up doing this thing. So let me go ahead and grab some links for you guys. Let me start with Amazon. Give me just a second here. So the name of the movie is Trouble Is My Business. It's actually from 2018. It's an older film. Relatively speaking, it's been around a while. What I would encourage you to do is, like I said, I'm going to drop the link. I think we're going to go ahead and we're going to do a rewatch, or not rewatch because you guys haven't seen it yet. We're going to do a watch party. But what I would really appreciate is whatever platform you're watching it on, review it, give it a good review. Tell them how great Tom Conkle is. Let me bring in my partner in crime here for the night, Trooper FN2525. How you doing, my friend?
Pretty good. How are you?
I appreciate you being here. You can take over chit-chatting and fill in the gap while I get a link up there for everybody. But how was your week there, Trooper? Did I lose you? Did I not add you to the stream?
No, we heard him a minute ago.
Yeah, Trooper, I heard you greet me, and then you just cut out. I'm not hearing anything.
Well, I could tell you that the movie is really, really great. When Tom was talking about it, there's one scene in there that he said was really hard to film because there were so many moving parts to it, because it's almost all done on green screen.
I'll probably end up sharing a lot of things Tom shared, but it'll be like coming from me. It'll be coming like secondhand because, I don't know. I really recommend that you watch it with me just to hang out and have fun. But then I recommend you go back and rewatch it with the Midnight's Edge stream, so that you could actually get Tom Conkle. See, there we go. We got Trooper back. There you go. Did you just drop out or something?
No, you know what? I am not at home. I'm on my cell phone. So I have to go ahead and change this up a little bit. But
if this isn't going to work for you, that's fine. You don't have to.
no, it does.
Feel
it does.
obligated.
I have a few minutes. I'll probably jump in probably around the second hour. But what type of rewatch are you looking to do?
So we're looking. Yeah. See, unfortunately, you dropped out and you missed what we were sharing. So it's a film called Trouble Is My Business.
Okay.
And it was directed and starring Tom Conkle. Great film, very noir, very. How can I say it? It's the kind of film I think Professor Geek would really, really love. You know?
It's a very long, very dull film.
No, not at all. In fact, let me see if it says what the
It's got a Sam Spade vibe to it.
Yeah, very much.
Okay,
it's 2
I can
hours
see
and
that.
3 minutes. It's
Okay.
yeah, I guess it's a somewhat slow burn, but what's really awesome is paying attention to the details. And like I said, like I was saying when you kind of dropped out, I'm probably going to end up repeating all the same stuff that Tom Conkle said on the Midnight's Edge watch party, or at least some of it, what I can remember of it. But I would recommend anyone that rewatches it or watches it with us, I don't know, rewatches with us, go back and watch it again later with the Midnight's Edge, stream. And their stream is still up, and it's got the, start now, just like we always do. And this way you can listen to it with the commentary from the Peanut Gallery of Midnight's Edge, with Andre, with Tom Conkle himself, the director and star, and get all that, inside information. So let me go ahead and drop for those of you that are, Amazon Prime subscribers, that's the Amazon stream. That's kind of the way Tom Conkle would really prefer you watch it, black and white, but if you give me a second, I will go to Tubi and get you that link too.
I don't know. I mean, it depends. I mean, if we're doing like an art film rewatch, my suggestion would be if you do have Prime, definitely sit down, take a few notes, do some analysis before you watch the Peanut Gallery, because technically what will end up happening is your opinion might be swayed. Best way to watch an art film is just to kind of have at least some first impressions and then kind of listen to everyone else. And what you might find out is you might actually catch something that someone else missed, or you might see something completely differently than some of the viewers tend to see it. And it just depends on your experience with art films or any type of black and white film. And especially if you appreciate black and white, it's usually better to do the first run by yourself and then kind of see where you're at with other people and see where your opinion kind of varies and why, and then you kind of start getting a little bit more of an idea of what your preference is if you're not into art films.
Yep. So,
I want to say hello to Melissa Harris and to Wolfie. Hi, guys.
Hey, Wolfie. Hey, Melissa Harris. Please forgive me. I'm trying to get this stream up and running, so bear with me. Did I drop the right? Trouble Is My Business.
Let's see. Oh, there we go. Let's see. Well, it looks like all the regulars are here. I see Boomer, Leah.
Yep.
Looks like Josh V is in the house. Obviously, Schooner. Bloop, 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 bloop. And, all the good peeps. So, looks like it's going to be a good stream.
You know what? I think I dropped the link to the preview. Let me.
It shouldn't be too difficult to find.
Shouldn't is the key word.
I've had a lot to drink too.
I know.
I am 3 sips into my martini. I am wasted. So
I wish. No, I've got I've got a mango flavored wheat ale off to the side that I'll probably be able to get to later. Right now I'm just
Here we go. Yeah, I'm sorry. I dropped the wrong link for the Amazon Prime. Let me do that again. Give me just a second here. There we go. So the one that I dropped previously for wow. Is that the right? Let me try that. Let me try
two
that.
sips sounds more like 4 sips.
No, that can't possibly be right because that's way too long. Let me see.
Let me check it out, sweetie. Hold on.
Amazon Prime? Trouble is my business. In fact, if you know what, here's the easy way. If you have Amazon Prime, go to Amazon Prime. Type in "Trouble is my business." You'll find it. There it is. Okay, I see. There's all kinds of extra stuff. You look for the question mark, and that's where you stop. There we go. That's the right link. Boom. There we go.
Okay, yeah, no, I see it.
You sure now, sweetie?
I'm sure.
I'll have to look at it. I don't know. I mean, that wouldn't be a bad rewatch at all. I mean, it kind of takes a little break from the Dark Universe. I mean, if you kind of want to break off of that for a little bit, or
guys,
I mean,
you know what?
Or if you're looking to do.
Let me speak to that, and let me say hi to Christopher Radmacher.
Cool.
I don't understand your comment at all, but thanks so much for being here. I super appreciate it.
I saw it, and I'm like, well, okay.
Wolfie doesn't have Prime. What's the other place? Tubi.
Tubi.
So Wolfie can get it on Tubi.
Yes,
Yeah,
Tubi is free, but it's got commercials. So
yeah,
I'm glad you brought it up. Let me explain. I had dropped the Tubi link earlier. If you're watching on Tubi, that's fine. What I recommend is go ahead and watch it. You'll queue it up with us. You'll watch it the same way. If you run into a commercial, go ahead and hit pause on your YouTube. Pause us. And then after the commercial, hit unpause and just continue watching. And yeah, you'll be behind us. You won't be live with us, but you know, you'll be following along on the movie with us. That'll work. Agent Boomer, I'm completely.
Yeah, I saw that.
Is that completely non-sequitur? Are you just?
It is 50 long and 2 tons.
Are you just riffing on what Christopher said, or I don't know. I'm already halfway into my martini, so you guys got to be a little bit.
All right, let's drive this bad boy into a wall.
I've still got a Dr. Pepper here, sweetie. You don't have to. You don't have to.
Get you water because that on top of martini is going to be up.
I'll be fine, sweetie. Don't worry.
No, I'm getting you water.
Okay, you get me water. So I'll have water. I'll have Dr. Pepper, and I'll have a martini.
Well, it's not a true Dr. Pepper unless it's a diet Dr. Pepper.
It is a diet Dr. Pepper. We only have. I was gonna say we only have diet soda in the house, but that's not entirely true because I always keep a stock of real soda just in case we have guests.
Yeah, no, I try to stay away from sugar. I mean, sucralose is about as close as I like to do as far as sugar. I don't like to get into the dextrose or anything like that or high fructose.
You know what?
Just because it makes me itchy is what what I'm finding out.
When it comes to artificial sweeteners, I don't sucralose. What's the other one? Aspartame.
The blue stuff. I love the blue stuff, even though I hear it makes you go blind in rat studies.
What was the one that was in Tab?
It would be the pink stuff.
Saccharin.
It would be the pink stuff. It's the one that gave it gave mice lumps, cancerous lumps.
Yes. So. If you gave them nothing but that in quantities higher than they would normally eat.
Right.
It was I read the study about that. It was freaking ridiculous.
It's bad what they do to these poor little animals. It's like, let me tell you something, guys. Let me pour some shampoo into your eyes and see what happens.
Exactly. If you were to eat sugar exclusively and in quantities far beyond what would be capable of being eaten normally by a human being in a single day, you're
Yeah.
going to end up with all kinds of health problems too. I mean, I don't really understand what it is they're trying to test when they do some of these tests.
Well, I
honestly
mean, yeah, I mean, that's why the pink hairs, before they were pink hairs, were all, foaming at the mouth about, liberate the animals in the testing sites, which they still do. They still do animal testing. They don't talk as much about it as they used to.
I don't.
But my big thing has always been, if you don't like that, then you need to purchase products that will tell you right on the label, hey, never test it on animals.
I
That's
don't
the best way to do it.
technically have a problem with animal testing, as long as it's the kind of animal testing where it's like, we're getting ready to test this on humans. Let's test it on a rat first,
Well,
and if it spontaneously combusts, we won't test it on a human,
yeah,
I mean,
well,
but if you're going to do crazy tests that are
yeah,
way beyond what you would do with a human in the first place,
and
you
that's
have no
normally
business
where that
doing it
usually
on a
goes.
rat. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah, and that's normally where that goes. I mean, people don't know how to draw a line. People just tend to be habitual line steppers if you give them an opportunity.
Dude, you think?
So.
I've been reading socialist media for a while. I kind of have lost
wash your
faith
eyes
in
out.
humanity.
Wash your eyes out. Oh, yeah. No, well, what was it? So, someone had made that comment to me also, and I told them, well, it's going to be a little while before it gets a little better. I don't know what better looks like. Maybe we'll have to get more tax hikes, more. The price of gas will probably have to skyrocket a little bit to where we're back at like $3, and we're like, wow, this is great. But I don't know. I don't know what that'll look like. So it'll be a while. I know from what I've been seeing, I'm not liking it either, as in terms of entertainment, where it's going. So
no, I get you.
Okay,
yeah.
let me just something here. For those of you getting it on Prime, I just had you jump through a bunch of hoops to finally get to the movie. So you might want to start now getting signed in and all that, because it takes a minute to get to where you need to go.
Yeah, guys. What I would highly recommend is go ahead and queue up whatever stream you're on. It's right after the random. Random is I don't know if that's the distributor or the studio or whatever.
Yeah, Random Media.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as the Random Media logo ends and goes to a black screen, go ahead and pause that. That's 3 seconds for me.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, wait a minute. No, that's still the trailer, because it's only 2 minutes, 3 seconds.
Wait a minute, what do I got?
Oh, I see. Because I've already watched it. I've got to go into the original stream and go back to the beginning. Hold on a second, everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then even after I signed in, I actually had to type in the name of the movie to get it, because it was like recommending other movies to me. I'm like, no, I want the one I'm looking for. They don't make it easy. Hey, Sir Torin, how are ya?
Okay, let's try this again. We'll try this in a new tab.
Oh, it's Horizon Walker. Hi there.
Okay. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get you guys
What is that?
I am going to get you guys to the landing page. Then you can go ahead and hit play when you're ready. Here, that's what I'm going to do. There's the landing page for you Amazon Prime subscribers. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And let me get it off of Tubi. Trouble is trying to type when you're drunk.
Oh no. Let's see.
And the Tubi link. Got it.
Other than that, there hasn't really been anything really interesting. I mean, I think I saw maybe one article that stuck out to me. I probably don't want to cover it on this stream because it'll just be more than likely cannon fodder for, boozy boomers, but we'll see what that looks like on Sunday.
Boozy boomers, I'm all for that. Although I don't think that age of boomer drinks all that much, but and I try to avoid the alcohol on a school night. So
hey, flavored water is still considered drink, even if it's fruit flavored water. So Oh, I'm sorry,
Gosh.
fruit infused. Fruit infused. Let me get that one right.
So before we jump into the rewatch, and I'm so glad that people have expressed an interest in this. Boy, a couple things I wanted to touch on this week. This week, I swear, the news that has been coming out, and Boomer and I have been trading our notes back and forth, and I still got to get those together for him tomorrow. But it's been very disheartening. It's across the geek spectrum. Even the good is bad, in my opinion. Honestly, I mean, I'm not going to get too into it in tonight's stream because we'll probably talk about it a lot on Sunday. But this whole Snyderverse thing has really brought out all the the dumpster fire that's going on in AT&T Warner Brothers.
It's brought out the pink-haired, unplucked, unshaven unibrow masses in the extreme, and on the other side, I really need to
process, because what I'm seeing is I see the same kind of divide over at AT&T Warner Brothers that I'm seeing over at Disney Lucasfilm.
Yes, and on the other side, you have a whole bunch of e-fappers, more or less wearing T-shirts that say 300 is my spirit animal. So I'm already seeing it.
Look,
it'll be very interesting.
I am not, and this is, I said this to Boomer, and I've said this to other people. It's like, I hate being in the camp of having to defend Snyder. Don't make me defend Snyder. I don't want to defend Snyder. I don't want to have to.
He has a mouth. He has a press team. At any time, he could have said, "You know what? I'm an idiot."
No, he can't. See, that's the problem, Trooper. He says what he is told to say, and then he is not allowed to extrapolate on that. He is literally a corporate puppet.
Well,
blaming him is like blaming Kermit for what Henson says.
If the legal team has any brains whatsoever, which they don't, because we're already starting to walk into Lucasfilm territory, then they would issue some form of correction, or there would be some form of articles coming out, kind of saying, hey, there was this, just reporting on events, just let me put it to you this way. The kind of like the Forbes article, the Forbes article more or less is kind of like the canary in the coal mine type of article, where it's telling, Chapek, hey, maybe now would be a good time to, I don't know, airlock a certain Darth that has been plunging the revenue. Now might be the time to say, you know what? I accidentally hit the airlock button. My bad. Same thing. Same thing with Snyder. Because it's obvious now that the support was needed to be able to push this project through. It's going to look great on HBO Max. Let's go ahead and make this 4-hour film.
From a business standpoint, it makes perfect sense, right? I mean, it's we talk about maybe millions of dollars being spent to finish it, but in Hollywood money, that's chump change, right? I mean, it's so they finish his vision, wonderful. They put it out. From AT&T's standpoint, it's content on our streaming service. We want to generate business on our streaming service.
Part of me needs it to fail. AT&T needs it to succeed.
Well, whether they need
think about
they need to succeed financially. They're looking at it the way us normal, intelligent, logical people look at it. It's give the people what they want, because they will pay for it and it will make us money. I mean, imagine the simple profit motive, right?
I gotta say, yes, maybe. A normie is what I would more or less consider the casual viewer, the guy that pays the $14 a movie ticket to go see Mother and have their eyebrows singed by the poor acting of a certain female actress who thinks her acting is definitely above her level of her level of training. But,
I would say that what I'm really loath to say
I mean,
is
I'd love
that
to say Mother was a good film, but it wasn't. But
in this whole analogy,
yep.
comparing, AT&T to Disney here, unfortunately, Zack Snyder is Warner Brothers' version of Cara Dune,
No, I
Gina
wouldn't go that
Carano.
far. I wouldn't go that far because, to be perfectly honest, he is definitely not of the populist wing at all.
No, he is not, but he
And
has the fan following that is
well,
bringing in money that
well, you could.
AT&T wants, and Warner Brothers is trying to quash that.
I mean, you could say the same thing about James Gunn right now. I mean, if we're going to go ahead and start talking directors that kind of fall
I
within a
don't know.
certain
Fuck
spectrum,
James Gunn.
he's more along that spectrum with Gunn, where
I
they're of
don't
a
know.
certain point of view.
At
Now,
this point, I'm just
mind
so
you, one's a
pissed about his whole
Twitter troll,
hypocrisy. Fuck
and
him.
the other one stylistically is recognizable on film only because of a certain number of titles that you now recognize the saturated dark frames whenever you see them. But I mean, as far as the Cara Dune thing, the Cara Dune thing was a little different because she already had her own built-in audience, not necessarily from film, but coming from the MMA world, and she built up a bigger audience, throughout different films. So you have the appearances on Deadpool, and then you get a little bit more of a gathering, through Lucasfilm. Mind you, the whole time you're accruing followers. You're not necessarily pigeonholed into one particular franchise. You're starting to come up in different projects. Mind you, yes, Marvel and yes, Lucasfilm is technically Disney, but they're different brands of the same mother label, if you will. So what ends up happening is, hey, I say something that most people don't like. I'm not necessarily bringing up a sacred cow, but the pink-haired gender study admirals see it as a sacred cow, so now we must abolish it from the face of the earth, and they go scorched earth, and it doesn't go well because it goes perfectly nasty. And this is what people do not understand now, and this is what we're starting to see with most celebrities in this particular time frame. Now that we're in 2021. This is how social media has affected the sphere of influence, if you will, because now you can also be an influencer on social media, not just a celebrity. Before, hey, you make an appearance, your fans show up. Hey, can you sign this? Can you sign that? Oh my gosh, I have. And here's the thing now. Now you can put out a comment on Twitter, and now I'm not inferring anything like Milo or with what's her face with the Ghostbusters. I'm not bringing that up, but it's like if you say something like, "Hey, I just got fired from my job," guess what? Everyone knows about it in less than a few minutes. And before you would find out through a series of articles and other articles that cite other articles, and then okay, but now it's instantaneous. That's the problem.
Here's the problem that I'm having.
Yeah,
I'm having a huge cognitive dissonance about this whole Snyder Cut thing, right? On the one hand, I dig what people are saying about, win for the fans.
Yeah.
I am not a fan of Snyder, but I understand this idea that, look, give the fans what they want. I am not someone that wants to watch the Snyder Cut, but if there is a significant group that does,
right,
and it's financially feasible, give it to them.
Well,
it's simple supply and demand, right?
But here's the thing. That's also a subgroup. I mean, that the only reason that even got any traction at all was because.
Wait, let me interrupt you for just a second to say, Boomer, if I'm getting too into this topic and you want to save it for Sunday, say something in the comments, but it's just something I felt like talking about tonight.
I could never replace Boomer. He has the radio voice. He's
right.
He's the NPR.
Wait a minute. So I want to say this on stream in front of everybody and everyone who sees it in the future and everything. Boomer and I have talked about you behind the scenes, and
really?
Dude, we really think you need to be doing your own stream or something like that.
Um,
I love having you as a guest host.
Yeah.
You definitely have a personality and a conversational ability that
opinion.
that
Yeah.
makes for a show. You know what I'm saying?
It's something that's always ever present. But everyone, for all our fun family group here in the stream. I mean, it's something that I have thought about. But one of the things that I have definitely thought about, it's definitely not on this particular platform, and only because right now what's going on with what's happening with, say, other accounts and stuff like this. I think our own particular influence, especially as a small community that we are, being that we're I don't want to call us niche or fringe. We're basically a community of art film lovers, extended universe lovers, and yeah, we don't necessarily fall under that blanket of the uh, massive influence channels, and we all know who they are. It's you don't have to mention the names here. I mean, it obviously involved the Snyder Cut. I'll leave it at that.
I
But
dig it.
what I see this community being is that we're more or less like the island in the storm. So it is nice to have a breath of fresh air where you have people that are literally giving you analysis and giving you input and giving you their own thoughts and being very organic about it. If I were to do something like that, the conversations that I've had with Schooner, that I've had with Wolf, that I've had with Leia have been very fruitful, especially with you and with Boomer. They've been fantastic.
Yeah.
Me personally, what I tend to think is that, we could use what we have to go ahead and start branching out into some of these other platforms and not necessarily give the Death Star any more fuel or any more kyber crystals than it already has. You know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Right. No, I dig it.
So yeah, it's one of these things too that you have to take into consideration that when you're putting your thoughts out there, I mean, they're out there. Once it's out there, it's there. Once you
Trooper,
yeah.
I'm gonna bring in Wolfie just because.
Oh, nice.
Just because he asked and he wanted to be a part of the stream, and I'm gonna bring him in. Okay.
Oh, what's up, Wolfie Squad?
Wolfie, how you doing, my friend? There you go, man.
Yeah. See,
how you doing, man?
I'm
well,
doing
he's
fine,
been enjoying
guys.
Christmas for like the last 2 days, so Christmas came early this year.
It makes sense in context.
What's up, Wolfie?
You I called brother. How come you come
Right.
to hate me so? Is this what you wanted? Then let my heart be hardened,
Wolfie,
and no matter
I
how
gotta
high
say
the cost
something.
may grow.
I swear, this week has been, from the point of view of geek culture and just the news in general, I am up in arms about just there's a bunch of racial issues going on that are just driving me nuts. And every time I'm like,
I know what you're referring to.
It's like, dude, I'd like to talk to Wolfie about this just because.
Oh no.
He is one of the few voices on that side that can help me get my head right about this. You know what I mean?
I've been living on a rock, so you gotta get me up to speed on what's been happening. I mean,
he's a populist furry.
You know what I'm saying?
He's a populist furry.
Right. Dude, I'm telling you, if you're paying attention to the news, I'm kind of feeling, as Boomer would say it, I'm feeling kind of black-pilled this week.
Well, you know what? Don't feel disheartened. Because I will tell you, where you are right now is where I found myself probably, I want to say, probably about maybe even up to 2 years ago.
Dude, how did you get out of it? Because I'm feeling kind of depressed.
Well, what it ends up being is you end up having to start looking at the bigger context. Why is this all coming about? You have.
I know why. That in and of itself is kind of depressing.
Well, in order to be able to soak it all in, you have to understand where this is all coming from. So, I mean, granted, what's really funny is there was this interview that Gavin McInnes did with this chick who really looked like Robin DiAngelo, but it wasn't. And and I'm pretty sure you know what I'm talking about.
Yes.
She's going on about blah 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 blah. When they open their mouth, all I hear is dribble. If I wanted to go on a date, I'd be on a date. So she's just saying dribble, and then he counters with, "Oh, so you're referring to, say, countries like Sweden, who just happen to have a broader, population number of a certain ethnic minority." And she's like, "Well, if you put it that way."
Oh,
and I'm thinking,
sake. I'm like, sick and tired of these false analogies. These false analogies do nothing to progress the conversation. They really don't.
Nope.
They really don't.
I'm just sick of it. And I'll tell you something. When I think about people like Candace Owens,
okay,
Wolf 10 Media,
right.
If you don't mind my saying, Leia plus size, okay, people of color that actually have intelligence and that I can communicate with, okay, who go ahead.
You're too. Are you hitting on me, Troy? You're being a bit sappy there.
Dude, no. It's not even that. It's not even that at all. It's just reality. It's there are people like Wolfie and myself and Trooper and really anyone that's in the stream right now, okay?
Right.
That have intelligence, okay?
Yeah.
Let he who hath understanding, right, reckon the number of the beast. And we have some intelligence, and we look at what's going on in the world, and guys, help me out here. I don't know how I don't despair. I feel like our public school system and just humanity have failed me.
Yes, I mean, come on now you have these poor kids in California now having to be subjected to whatever their
indoctrination, right?
Yes, whatever Mesoamerican. Whatever Mesoamerican craziness they're trying to infuse into the culture.
Guys, you're preaching to the choir here. Absolutely, I didn't mean to get this political tonight. I really intended to have some fun tonight.
Well, no, here's the thing. It's like all this stuff is interconnected, and we can talk about entertainment only to an extent, because once you have gone to a certain topic with entertainment, and that's what if you're watching us on the rewatch, or if you're watching live right now, you perfectly understand, as the evolution of media is happening within the comic book industry, within the film industry, within even
they're the propaganda arm. There's no doubt about it. Real quick, I want to welcome Mr. Matchstick. You weren't here earlier. Thank you for being here. Gosh, we're up to 8 watching. Woo!
It's
a party. It's a party of friends. That's the important part. You know what? I'm at the point where I just want to say,
you want to toss
screw all this. Let's get to the rewatch. Okay, let's go ahead and check out.
I have it ready on Tubi.
Do you? Good. And again, those of you that are having to watch it on Tubi, first, you're watching it in color. That's not how the director intended. He wanted it to be seen in black and white. What do I always say? Own physical media. If you enjoy this film tonight, please go to Amazon and order it. Because when you get the DVD or the Blu-ray, you get both black and white and color. You can watch it however you want. Really, we spend a lot of time in our community talking about we castigate this stupid SJW bent in Hollywood, and we really want to support independent filmmakers.
Oh, well, you
Here's
have
one.
to at this point. Yeah,
This
you
is
have to at this
one
point.
that you really should be supporting. So if there's anything you can do, leave a comment, a positive review on Amazon, on Tubi, on whatever streaming service you can find it on. IMDb is another one.
Mhm.
This is an independent film that needs to be supported. You know what?
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and watch it. I've dropped the links. Let me drop them one more time so we can get going. Okay.
Yeah, and I know everyone here in the stream pretty much knows where we're kind of at, within the social perspective of what's going on. But the best way for, again, if you just happen to, you just fell upon the stream, welcome. We are happy to have you here. What we're getting at is we're at a point, if I had to go canonically with Star Wars, right now we're in the Empire Strikes Back. That's where we're at right now.
Yep.
And I don't know how long that's going to last. I don't know what Return of the Jedi is going to look like. Some people are thinking we're going to zoom past that and we're going to go right into World War Z. I don't know if that'll happen. But what I can tell you is, with everything that keeps coming out, from
It's getting to a point where I'm thinking if they keep talking about the Civil War, it's going to happen, but it's going to be happening on a small scale in the streets.
But here's the thing, and this is, and I know
Until it
Troy's not there
escalates, of
yet.
course.
I know
Guys,
Troy's not
wait
there
a
yet,
minute.
but
I'm sorry. Let me interrupt you real quick. I'm sorry. I want to rein this in.
Yeah.
Let's bring it back to the rewatch, because to be honest with you, I'm at the point where I just want to get more positive,
Yeah.
In fact, let me share a quote with you. There's a channel that I follow. In fact, I became a member. A Max World Entertainment. Okay. His saying is something that I want to try to live by. He says, instead of bashing what you hate, support what you love. Now, I will temper that. I will say you kind of need to do both, right? You need to support what you love first and foremost, but don't be afraid to speak out against the things that you disagree with.
Well, also, I mean, to kind of give you a little light on this, I mean, you pretty much have to do what Tolkien gave you the keys. I mean, if you're willing to sit through the literature, you have to form a fellowship is what you have to do.
Amen. And I feel like we really have formed that fellowship. We have a group here. Right now it's only 8. Who knows how many people are going to watch it in the future? Whatever. But these are friends watching a film together, and we kind of get it, right? We understand that society can burn around us. We're not going to let that affect us, right? We're going to go forward, and we're going to be positive, right? We're gonna celebrate the weekend, okay? So I've dropped the links. Let me do it one more time. There's the Tubi link for those of you that don't subscribe to Amazon, okay? And let me drop the Amazon link for those of you that want to watch it, that have Amazon and can. No, it's not dropping.
Troy, let me lift your spirits up if I can with a serenade.
Go
ahead.
Started this journey open-ended, only one question in mind. Scared that the road might end abruptly, invisible signs pass by. Now that I know where I am headed, it's easier said than done. Spray out the windshield, wipe your worries, throw out the map and the rest.
I have no idea what you're singing. All I can say is it's 5 o'clock somewhere, guys. Go ahead. I went ahead and dropped the links there.
I'm sure anybody who's a nice kid would know that's
Get
where that song's
yourselves to
from.
the end of the random media logo. You know,
Mhm.
it says random media and then it goes to black. Pause it right there. For me on the
Let me play
Amazon
real quick.
stream, it's 13 seconds.
Mhm.
And go ahead and get yourself there. I know on Tubi it's the same thing. You get to the end of the random media. I don't know what the timer says.
I got sparkles in front of me right now. Little fading sparkles.
I got sparkles because I've had one heck of a strong drink.
I'm literally looking at the screen with fading sparkles.
Oh gosh.
What you should be seeing is the random media screen, and then it fades to black. Okay.
Right.
Oh wow, that's loud. Let me adjust it.
And I'm gonna go ahead and get going here.
Oh crap.
All right, everybody.
I'm clumsy.
Everybody that's in the studio with me, ready?
Give me a
Ned, are
sec.
you on Amazon?
I'm on Amazon, yeah.
Okay. Because I can't bring it up on the big screen, because if I bring it up on the big screen, my martini's going to go away, and I don't want to stream what's going on Amazon. Okay. That would be YouTube illegal, and I don't know what would happen.
Yeah, you basically get into an RSBN type of situation where you have to literally keep talking to the mic to kind of avoid a DMCA because God, just a peek behind the curtain here. I don't know if you knew this or not, but my last week's stream, the Werewolves of London song got me hit on YouTube, so I had to take it down, and it's up on Rumble for those of you that are following me. So
what?
well,
I know it was almost a compliment. It's like, did I really sing well enough for you to believe that it was like a real song?
Yes, because it's not some unplucked, unshaven, untucked pink hair. It's an algorithm.
It's an excellent algorithm that listened and heard the music and said,
yes. So
I dig it, but I still want to take it as a compliment. Anyway,
it is. You caught the attention.
So you guys should be at the end of the random media. You should be in the black screen. If you're on Amazon, it's 13 seconds. And I'm going to count 3, 2, 1, play, and we're going to hit play. Okay. Again, we're watching Trouble Is My Business, an incredible noir by Tom Conkle. 3, 2, 1.
Let's jam.
Okay.
All right.
So again, I would recommend, after watching this with us and having fun and just hanging out in the stream, I would go back and watch it again with the commentary from Midnight's Edge, because Tom Conkle himself tells you all the secrets about this. I'll be honest with you. I see this font coming at me, and I think it actually reminds me of that game LA Noire that the professor recommended.
Yeah, actually, that's a very good game. It's a very good game. I have it on 2 different platforms. I ended up having a PC version and a PS3.
I am so bummed. Netter and I got it on stream, and we've been completely unable to play it because it's so bugged.
Oh wow.
No.
Steam kind of sucks.
Yep.
Well, here's the thing. Steam is almost like the Facebook of streaming gaming, if you will.
Now you tell me. Thanks.
It's
Can I watch it while you can, Troy?
Well,
I know.
Even after Origin, even after Arc, and for anyone who doesn't know what Arc is, that's Perfect World. They came up with their own imitation Valve, if you will, and it's a whole, hey, buy the game. You're not buying the game. You're buying the license to play it. They can take it down at any time. But anyway, I'm digressing.
I am going to stop sharing my screen so that I can go ahead and make use of my big screen to put the movie up. It's just easier for me.
Yeah.
Eddie Valiant.
I don't think you really care whether you're looking at a picture of Martini or our icons. You know,
I like the martini.
I dig it,
it's
but
the
if
spirit of
that's
the
how you feel,
it's
go make yourself a martini.
it's the spirit of the stream. I mean,
So
last
that
call
individual
has
that
a
you're
different
seeing
vibe.
on the
So
screen right now,
mhm.
that is Tom Conkle.
Okay.
Although in
Nice.
real life, real time, he has a beard. He looks like a completely different person. I got to be honest.
Right. Just to kind of put a little pin in LA Noire. So if you decide to get the game, I would highly suggest it for anyone who hasn't played it. It's I don't want to say it's a near accurate, but it's a very close to accurate version of California in terms of how they actually put the thing together and the construction and the buildings. You're literally being dropped.
Speaking of
into-
close to accurate,
Yeah.
pay attention in this film to Tom Conkle paid
Mhm.
great attention to detail.
Mhm.
It's crazy. He put in the kind of detail that I would as a cosplayer and historical reenactor.
Well, you have
LA
to.
Noir. The only problem with that is Troy and I have played it, and it gets really glitchy, so you can't.
Well, it gets glitchy on stream. That's the
Yeah.
problem.
Yeah.
It's a very heavy game in terms of bandwidth if you're doing direct stream. I mean, I have it on PS3. I mean, unfortunately, my Falcon Northwest rig ended up taking a dump around that time that I actually had the game, so I ended up with a PS3 copy. And for anyone who obviously knows gaming, you know that the PC version versus the stream version versus the console version, they're all going to be stripped down in certain ways. So the PS3 version for me, while it was fun, it was very stripped in terms of detail.
If you do a rewatch of this
Mhm.
with the Midnight's Edge stream,
Mhm.
Vernon Wells, who does appear as the in quotes villain character later on,
Right.
does show up in the stream. So it's kind of cool.
Oh, nice.
In fact, I suggested that it would be really awesome if Midnight's Edge decided to do a rewatch of Commando if they could get Vernon Wells to join them.
Oh, nice.
I don't know if that'll happen, but we'll see.
Now we're talking Commander Arnold Schwarzenegger getting the
Yes,
chopper.
exactly.
Yeah.
Because Vernon Wells was the in quotes villain in that as well.
With a very young Alyssa Milano, before she decided to jump on the.
Really?
Yes.
Oh yeah,
a
before
very
she
young
went cuckoo
Alyssa.
There's
banana
only-
pancake.
There's
Well,
only two things that
before
I
she
know
went
her
cuckoo for
from.
Cocoa Puffs, So I mean,
No. I'm sorry. I take that back. There's three things I know Alyssa Milano from.
mhm.
Charmed.
Who's the Boss?
Yeah.
Charmed. And that vampire movie.
Oh
Oh, not
no! Oh my God!
That's
That
where I
vampire
stop.
movie is-
That's where I choose to end my.
She was in Poison Ivy too.
That
I don't
movie,
care. I don't
let
care
me-
about anything after that.
That's
I
soft
really
prawn, people. That
Don't
is
want to
soft
know what she has
prawn
to say
in the
anymore.
worst way. It's not
Mhm.
even good prawn. It's not even good prawn. It's even worse than watching a Bruce Lee film and then watching the dialogue catching up with the mouth movement. I mean, it's that bad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're being seduced by a vampire, the whole point is you're being seduced by a vampire. You don't look constipated throughout the entire time you're being seduced by a vampire. But I don't know. I guess that's what it comes across to me on film.
And can I just say Brittany Powell?
Hmm.
She's an incredible actress because, and I'm going to tell you this up front because I was almost all the way through this film before I realized she's playing a double role.
Oh.
Brittany Powell is playing two characters. She's playing two sisters.
She played Catherine.
Oh. Okay.
And-
Okay.
I mean, blonde and
This has
brunette,
an
but
film quality
I
to it.
swear she plays them so differently. I didn't realize it was the same actress.
Well, that was, that was like, that kind of touches on the comment that we made in the Wolfman stream, where Emily Blunt really had a good transformation from my perspective, going from, say, Wolfman to Edge of Tomorrow. They're completely different characters. I mean, one is very ultra feminine, and then one, of course, is a phallic woman with a exoskeleton suit, if you will, fighting, aliens. So, I mean, that to me was that showed me that particular performer could actually flex her talent. When you have an artist who tends to literally play, I'm thinking Bruce Campbell, the same character in different films, it can either be really iconic and memorable, or it could just be like, oh, okay, this is Meg Ryan again doing Meg Ryan.
Okay, so from the point of view of the formula of noir, okay,
right,
we have the foreshadowing, we have the rewind, we have the playthrough, we know this is going to be tragic, and we have the femme fatale, right?
Yeah.
Come on, Curse, you spilled the ketchup.
Yeah. This is an incredible setup. I am not going to give away too much. Really, I promise you, there is so much to be had from rewatching this again with Tom Conkle's commentary. So please do that, okay? I would also request, if you get through this stream and enjoy this film, please, whatever stream you're on, go and comment and critique and just give it some thumbs up, because this is an independent film that deserves some support. One of the things about our community is we talk about how we really need independent filmmakers to start really stepping up. And here Tom Conkle is really doing that. He doesn't care about what's going on in I shouldn't speak for him. I feel like he doesn't care about what's going on in Hollywood. He's stepping out on his own and doing a film like this. It deserves some kudos.
Well, we could take the stance and say that at the very least they're of the opinion that right now the climate within Hollywood is that if you're a smaller studio right now, you have plenty of opportunity to upturn the apple cart and really put out some wonderful content. So, I mean, and we kind of touched upon it a little bit with Gina Carano, jumping out of the, big fish bowl into a smaller fish bowl where she is now the bigger fish. Yeah. So that actually gives her a wide berth of being able to more or less bring about a vision that she wants to make. I mean, she's already being given a director role, so that what we're going to see on screen is going to be at least 85% of what her vision for that film is.
I personally am of the opinion that the whole concept of supply and demand is always going to win out. All this socialist bullshit just pisses me off. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. Now that we're talking about supply and demand, and I think you and I had this conversation in the green room, and I think Boomer might have been there. But when we talk about supply and demand, in I'll use the Star Wars extended universe as the example. When you want to steer a certain group from what's available to what you want to instead have them choose, you go ahead and do something to the existing stuff to almost make it seem less appealing. And that comes across of, okay, let's call this Legends. Who wants to? I mean, honestly, you can take it as, okay, so they're legends. So stupid. So I mean, if you're into mythology, if you're into Greek mythology, if you're into pre-Christian stuff, of course something like a title that says Legends might stick out to you. However, if you're of the tablet generation, or if you're of the subscribe, give me a like, you're not going to spend your time on that. You're going to go towards, say, whatever they're pushing at you. And that's why I started harping on the Legends banner that you'll find on the EU books, because that to me tells me three things. It tells me, one, you're trying to discourage me from buying them. Two, you're already tarnishing the art and also the artist's original intent on that cover art, because I tend to harp on that kind of stuff. And three, you're basically telling me that this is not worth my time. I should be looking
Real
at
quick,
new stuff.
I want to comment on the film here. So here
Yeah,
we
yeah.
have Brittany Powell in her second role as the
Mhm.
blonde sister, and
Reminds me of Sin City.
Well,
yes, that's a great observation. You're absolutely
here's the-
right about that. I also want to point out, at this point, she becomes so much more endearing to me because blonde. Being married to a blonde, I kind of have a special place in my heart. But Brittany Powell, I highly recommend you look her up on IMDb.
Yep.
She has an incredible history. Yeah.
Well, what I would say for anyone who is just now joining us, we're talking about noir. So when we talk about noir, we're talking about subtlety and nuance. That tends to be what you're looking for in any type of noir film. Now, black and white is normally the best way to watch noir. There are films that tend to kind of use elements from noir. Sometimes they go far back as using elements from, say, Wardrobe in the 1920s. So if we're talking about Sin City, we can also talk about Dark City.
Oh,
then we can also talk
speaking of Wardrobe.
Mhm.
So throughout this film, you're going to see him. You're going to see Tom wearing I forget the character's name, but the actor's name is Tom Conkle. He's wearing a trench coat.
Right.
That trench coat, he realized he had purchased it from a
Doing his little Han Solo bit there.
The trench coat, actually, if he looked and he saw that there was a label inside that said Sellers. He did a little research and he found out that he was wearing a trench coat that was worn by Peter Sellers in Pink Panther.
Oh, nice.
I know, it's incredible. Obviously not the one that caught fire, another movie.
Right.
You know what I mean.
Goldie.
Well, and the thing with noir is, it's not that it's a very hard genre to do, because it's not. Because what you're doing is, you already have a storyline, but with noir, in case, with some films, not all films, because newer films, they kind of lead you to the end of the story. They feed you.
They usually start out with the last scene, right?
Yeah,
and then fill in the backstory.
Or they'll start, to the last scene. So let's say if my opening scene was a detective who had a gun pointed at the femme fatale, and then we, monologue, nights in Detroit, blah 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 blah. 15 years, blah blah blah, working the beat, blah blah blah. This is the story, and then you go right into the events prior to what gets you to that scene, and then you really find out that whatever the ending is, it subverts what your expectation of that first scene was, and it's not to do like a Rian Johnson. Oh, I want to intentionally, subvert your expectations because I don't know how to write a good film. It has to do with. It has to do more with being able to use that part of your brain that lets you create abstract ideas about the film. We pretty much did that on the Wolfman stream. So, pay attention to body posture. Definitely pay attention to wardrobe. If we're talking about noir, trench coats tend to be an element that's associated with noir. So, like I was saying before, you will find those elements in other films. So, say like what was it, L.A. Confidential, if we're or Hollywood Confidential, I think. Also,
No, it's not
even
like
Blade Runner.
confidential.
Yeah, even Blade Runner. I mean, the main character. I mean, he's wearing a trench coat the entire time, except for maybe a few scenes, obviously, where he's washing the blood off his face and that kind of thing. But yeah, elements of noir do tend to find their way into other films. But finding a true noir film is very hard now because most directors just don't do them because they're at the mercy of the studios, and the studios obviously aren't pushing noir right now. They're pushing whatever they consider popular culture.
In fairness, Aged Boomer, you like her better as a blonde. That's her natural. Well, that's her real hair. When she's a brunette, she's wearing a wig. Just saying.
Ma Pacheco can confirm.
Yeah, I'll do it.
Well, it's not even a good wig.
Yeah, it's not even a good wig. It's kind of, it's almost intentional that you notice it.
Well, blondes are also associated with
I don't want to ruin
too.
the film, but right here, this scene, this is one of those perfect noir scenes where she's just shot a guy, and she explains it away as, I thought he was attacking you, but the guy was already bleeding as he was, in quotes, attacking.
Right.
There's something going on here that you don't necessarily key into,
And that's, that has to do with the portrayal.
She's the femme fatale, that.
Yeah.
So she's going to be the instrument of his downfall. Okay,
yeah,
if you know how noir works, right?
In the evolution of the female hero, I mean, the femme fatale came about. Well, I think it was, I want to say, after World War One. Really, right around after the 1920s. Once we got away from flappers, we started seeing the evolution of where female characters were going.
Nice.
The femme fatale, more or less, is a way, or rather distracts you with her physical appearance while her mental motives might be different. So,
what's really crucial is that Tom really drew from what Brittany said. He actually asked the actress, he's like, here's the script. How do you read it? He did some rewrites based on what she said,
Mm-hmm.
She had direct input in her character.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice collaboration there.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
if you're gonna write a character a certain way, and you already have a story in place, when you bring other people into a project, I'm not saying no. It is good to have different ideas.
Where's my tip? Eat your vegetables.
Well,
I love that line.
I would compare that to what Lucas was doing with the prequel films, where everything looked great on paper, and not that many people were willing to interject and say, "Hey, you're kind of lost in the weeds here." So
yeah. You what does the Bible say? Many advisors make victory assured.
Right.
There's something to be said for, if you think you're all that, then you're not all that. You need some advice. And
I mean, yeah, you really do. I mean, if you think about it, you do.
Don't even when you look at what was the best Star Wars film, I would argue Empire Strikes Back.
For me, it's Empire.
Yeah, and you can argue
Empire.
that that's because of Lawrence Kasdan, but even Lawrence Kasdan didn't do it without George Lucas. There's the collaboration, right?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, I would argue that point on Empire because Whitwer would tell you that arguably the best film was Return of the Jedi. Now, for me, there were elements of Return of the Jedi that I did not like. I mean, honestly, if we leave out the whole Ewok element, it's like, what ends up happening is, and I guess what is really being alluded to is the paradigm shift, where the obligation of the son is obviously now in focus. We see what Anakin's legacy has turned into. A dark gnarled tree, and of course the fruits of the tree should already be poisonous by default. But what you see is you also have to remember that Anakin was also a Jedi, Jedi Knight, and you make a choice.
Mister, I wish.
You end up picking up the crucible of the Father, but then you take it to another level.
He's more machine now than man.
Agent Boomer points out she does look different. What's incredible about her performance is which character she's playing. She looks and acts so different. I think that speaks highly to her acting. It's just amazing,
Oh, absolutely. What the way I would equate this, a good example being the first episode of WandaVision. I mean, you get maybe some behind the scenes footage, for a lot of these promos. Hey, watch our stuff. We're really not mean people. Gina had to go, but what you saw and what you got out of Elizabeth Olsen when she was interviewed, behind the scenes is, they really had to study the wardrobe. She really kind of had to learn how to move. And that's the
I
other
have
thing
a great
too.
deal of respect for Elizabeth Olsen.
Oh,
The problem is, unfortunately, she's tied to a company that has effed itself.
Well, this is where we're going with Warner as well.
Yeah. It's happening to all of these companies, and I swear it's gotten to the point where these company heads need to frickin' earn their salaries and say,
well, we're at a good point now. Because what's happening?
I want to add that. I don't mean to interject, but I want to add that you brought up Jennifer Lawrence back when she did Mother. I said in the comments, I said Mother was a train wreck. Watch Midsummer instead if you want to watch something really effed up.
Yeah.
What I was gonna say,
guys, I'm gonna step away for a second, pull a Professor Geek, but I'm gonna leave the mic open because I don't know if Netter might have something to say. I'll be right back.
Okay.
I might.
You might.
Okay.
So what I want to bring up with Midsummer, the actress Florence. Florence Pugh.
Go ahead.
She's a different person with every movie that I've seen her in, or at least like notice that she's been in. She's not a one trick pony like Jennifer Lawrence is. Like she was in she was in Fighting with.
I know how to act. So.
Yeah, she was in Fighting with My Family, and she was like playing a professional wrestler diva in that one, and now she's playing Russian, which she does a consistent. She does a consistent Russian accent, unlike Scarlett Johansson.
well, here's the thing. With stuff like that, it's not like it was missed. Sometimes it tends to be intentional because they figure, okay, we can now move on from that. Okay, we've done what we needed to do. Let's move on to the next set piece. But what I was going to say is that we are at a good time. And for everyone who's black pilled, here's the thing now the masses with I don't know about the crowd with the, t-shirts that say 300 is my spirit animal. I don't know about that crowd, but
where
we're
that
getting
come from? My question is
we're getting, well, in terms of fandom, they're now being weaned off the Hollywood teat, if you will, because what's happening is, well, think about it. So they're telling you this is what you want, this is what you want, this is what you want. So what tends to be the natural reaction is to rebel to what's being presented in front of you, especially when you know that it's something that you don't necessarily ascribe to. So that's going to open up an opportunity for other studios, maybe with a lesser budget, to be able to go ahead and bring about the
real quick, guys. I want to
want.
interject here. So we have what's a common trope in noir is, and it's
Yep.
the dinner scene, right, where
Mhm.
there's all the interaction and the bantering and so forth.
Yes.
I do want to point out this matriarch character here.
Hmm.
Originally, Tom Conkle had taken the script and sent it to, of all people, Lauren Bacall. And unfortunately, she passed
wow.
before she had the opportunity. She was originally going to play that role. So
Oh wow.
I think it's worth watching this film, realizing that, you know.
Yeah, those nuggets are good. I mean,
And
but
Lauren Bacall was wheelchair bound at the time. So the role was written specifically for a character in a wheelchair.
right.
And they just followed that through when they, couldn't, when she passed.
What I was going to say is nuggets are good. There's nothing wrong with nuggets. It kind of gives you more. It gives you more perspective on the actual project than the actual film itself. I mean, it breaks the fourth wall a little bit, but that's fine. Whatever.
Yeah.
But the thing about stuff like that, and I've noticed this too, and I've done this too. It's you love a film, and now I've gotten into a different habit that if I really like something, I tend to stay away from the behind the scenes stuff. Because with Dark City, to kind of give you an idea, like me, I love the theatrical version of Dark City. Now, I've watched the director's cut. It's not bad, but my interpretation and the abstract ideas that I got from the theatrical cut were obviously very different because the studio stepped in and they're like, it's not going to make sense. They're not going to understand it, blah, 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 blah.
Here's what you really have to do when you deal with stuff like that. I mean, and
Yep.
you can do that with any DVD that you get that's got multiple cuts on it. I would argue, especially, Blade Runner, that's got like, I don't know, a jillion versions out there.
Well, Dangerous
this
Days
whole
was
Snyder
different.
cut thing.
Yeah.
What you need to do, if you really love a film, is watch it and then compare it to other versions and get in your head, why are these versions different? What was it that the director saw that I didn't see in the original? It's a great insight to how films are made, especially I would argue with the Snyder cut or even the Donner cut of Superman. You're looking at a slice of history that is, this is what could have happened if the studios hadn't effed around with the director's vision.
Well, you see it more and more. Arguably, you see it more and more. But if we go further back, and my argument is that most people in fandom, if you will, are starting to look at older films, older materials, older comic books to actually enrich themselves in content that they actually want to engage with. So if you're definitely of that vein, I would say definitely support your local mom and pop stores that bring you that product as opposed to going online, because it helps them. But then you're also exposed to, hey, if you really like this, I can recommend this, and then you start finding a community within a community, and suddenly now you're being exposed to even more. But to go back a little bit. And I'm going to try to kind of refocus myself here because I tend to get wordy.
Wait, before you do, and so you can get your thoughts across, let me comment on this scene right now. This is an interesting scene because you have a character giving a flashback, and you're seeing it from his point of view, his recollection, and his description of the scene are two very different things. And I think that's a brilliant way of portraying it,
Does anybody like Dick Tracy by any chance?
Yes. Well, and if you're watching this in color, there is definitely that kind of a feel to it.
That's why I was getting a feel, because I am watching it in color.
Yeah.
When cue ball
in
popped
fact,
on screen.
Tom Conkle even said that he recognized that as he was making it, and he put a lot of thought into the coloring of the ambiance and the costuming and everything, because he had to plan for both black and white and color. And the reason for that is his original vision was black and white, but what he didn't realize as he was making it was that some streaming service will not accept black and white films. Can you believe that?
Oh, I believe it. Absolutely
Hello,
believe it,
the
because
artist.
I know where it's going. I know where it's going.
The artist is on
ridiculous.
Netflix.
Well, it would. Well, I can't speak for the papacy of pronouns, but what I can say is, just like a small short story here, there would be tigers. You go looking for something, eventually you're going to find it in everything.
Yep.
But what I was going to say earlier, as you go further back into Hollywood, what you notice with a lot of the content, some
Why
of
didn't
it
you
was
eat both olives?
what's that?
I was talking to Netter. She ate one of 2 olives.
I told you I was gonna take a olive. I should take a olive.
You silly.
I only wanted one.
Oh goodness.
Sorry, guys.
Oh no.
Cocktail talk.
Of course, that's what last call's about.
Right?
So
No, it's
Uh,
husband-wife talk. He wants to know
Well,
if I only wanted one olive.
however you look at it.
well, see, she took a
Everybody
olive,
knows, Troy. You
and
you
I
you-
went
when
and
you
I
have
did
one
some
olive, you're
and I
classy.
checked back, and I found out that the olive was eaten by the femme fatale.
Well, the thing is, I love green olives, which is what he's got a bowl of, but I
Yeah.
only wanted one because I was
Right.
eating something sweet, so I didn't want the salty with the sweet.
That's what she
So here on
Definitely
screen,
what
you
she
have
said.
Vernon Wells has just come on screen. And while Midnight's Edge was doing the watch party with Tom Conkle,
Mhm.
Vernon Wells joined. And
Ooh.
I chatted to him, and
I
I'm
might
like,
have to check that out. I might have to check
you
that
really
out.
should. I highly
Andre,
recommend.
hello. I'm not subbed. I might
Ver-
sub at one point.
Vernon Wells, I said to him, I'm
Yeah.
like, I would love it if
Right.
Midnight's Edge would do a watch party of Commando, if you would join.
Oh, it would be
And
great.
Vernon Wells said, "Oh man, I'd love to be a part of that." What movie was that again? And he was joking, of course. I laughed so hard.
So when we talk about, earlier productions, a good example, honestly, is Blade Runner. For anyone who obviously has the multi-disc editions, you're already familiar with Dangerous Days. So Dangerous Days literally chronicles productions like this, because that's sci-fi noir. So literally it's still noir, but obviously we're doing a time jump, setting it up in 2019.
Yes.
So yeah, so I mean, really,
alternate 2019.
an alternate 2019. But looking at Dangerous Days, they had a lot of setbacks.
Yes.
In terms of costs, in terms of the way the stages were being set. I know they had an issue with one of those scenes where the pillows were turned upside down, and I know most of you are like, oh yeah, I remember that. But one of the more iconic scenes and one of the more memorable moments literally is at the end of the film, and by that time they were rushing just to get this done.
Yep.
You see Roy Batty, sun's already coming up. That was unintentional. They were already on a time schedule. They had to wrap this up. And if I remember, that last line literally just came off the top of his head. But see, those are earlier productions. Now, as we come into 2021, what you're seeing the studio interfering more with the actual script. Oh, well, you're not sending this message, or all these boxes are not checked. So,
Yeah.
I mean, if you go back, you see deleted scenes in some of these other films. Yeah, they make the story more cohesive, but it's maybe one or two scenes that you're like, oh, okay, I get it. Yeah, there was no need to put that in there. Or, yeah, it's great. That's almost, I can see that happening, but that's like a remix.
What you're
will.
speaking to, Trooper, is
Mhm.
another reason why I highly recommend everybody go back and rewatch this film. with the commentary from Midnight's Edge and Tom
Mm-hmm.
Conkle himself.
Mm-hmm.
What's incredible is the budget was so small for this film.
Yeah.
And what I did not realize until it was pointed out. Once it's pointed out, you can't unnotice it. And I'm going to reveal it right now.
Yeah, sure.
Most of this film is filmed on green screen. Most of the backgrounds are
okay. Yeah,
tell.
I never would have put the two together because
even this scene right here. He is not outside. That is not a real car. The reflection in the car had to be added to the 3D model.
Oh, nice.
That's amazing.
And that's why it works with noir, because with noir you're focused on the characters. Mind you, yes, the background is part of noir also.
Yes.
When we're looking at the lighting and the shading and stuff like that.
And
we're
he
looking
points
at
that out,
scene.
how so many of the scenes could not be done in real life because it was set in the 40s, right? So you couldn't show a street scene with modern locations and satellite dishes and, stuff like that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah. So stuff like I guess my idea or my abstract opinion on this would be is that it really works with noir more so than current pop films where you just get egregious number of action sequences to the point where it's gratuitous violence. I would say that it works with noir because noir itself, the easiest way for me to articulate that is that, just like Troy said, some of these scenes would not be able to be done in live stages,
right?
As opposed to green screen, because the way noir works is the background reflects what's going on with the characters.
Well, the setting is crucial, right? And
it is in terms of the shading,
there's a couple of scenes that actually are practical scenes in real settings, and he points out how he had to film at angles so that you didn't see certain things. It's really interesting. Again, I recommend that Midnight's Edge stream. Something I do want to address from the chat, and it's Wolfie, who's right here in the studio with me. Yes, I have several fedoras. They are true fedoras. I don't wear a dilby, which is probably what you're referring to. That's what people call fedoras that are not fedoras.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
I call them a-hole fedoras.
Yeah. So I have two fedoras. One is that kind of almost Western style fedora that Indiana Jones wore in brown. And I have a black fedora that belonged to my grandfather.
Give me a timestamp because I went through two ads, so many ads.
That's fine. So I am looking at
I'm at 40, 40, 41.
40, 41, 42, 43, and she is just about to smother her mother.
And Maranui, hey, welcome. Hey, we are watching Trouble Is My Business. If you can go up, you can scroll up the chat, you'll see some links.
Yeah, I think I've sobered up enough that I should be able to share links with you. Hold on a second.
Well, you're not slurring your S's yet.
Very strong.
I like the score, Age.
All right, guys. So I'm going to be stepping out here for a little bit. I'm going to have to go take care of a few things. I'll probably pop back in. I'll let you know me what's going. If I can get back in, before the end of the second hour, or if we go into the third hour, I'll definitely let you know. But
yep, go ahead, and I'll hear a little bloop when you click the link, and I'll know that you're there.
I'll be like, I'm in an undisclosed location with great Wi-Fi.
That's fine. So I've just dropped 2
I'm
links.
just poking at you, Schooner. I don't mean anything by it. So, all right, guys,
You're
it's
still in
been
your gig,
awesome.
Schooner.
Take it easy,
Right.
Trooper. Hope
Right.
hope to see you
Right.
later.
All right, I'll catch you guys in a minute.
Bye
All right,
bye.
bye.
So I just dropped 2 links. One's for Amazon if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. The other is for Tubi. And if you want to jump in and check it out, I will give you a timestamp when you're ready. The scene that we're looking at right now, we're obviously everything is against a green screen here because the city of LA behind him, they had to give you that because otherwise there'd be too many modern elements in it, you know.
Yep, definitely.
It
wouldn't be feasible to recreate that
but
proper.
here you have Vernon Wells beating the crap out of Tom Conkle, and Tom said that one of the punches that he threw actually connected, and I don't know which one it is, but he was very professional. He had a moment of, oh shit, I just actually punched him, but continued the scene and didn't blow it, and they went ahead and kept it.
It happens sometimes when somebody actually hit somebody in these type of scenes.
And
Like
some actors are like, yeah, go ahead and punch me. We'll make it as, because they're method actors and they want it as real as possible.
I'll give you 2 instances of realism. Priest. Have you heard of Priest yet? Or have you seen Priest?
No.
So in one scene, it's got Paul Bettany and Carl Urban, two MCU characters.
They're great, yeah.
So one of the scenes, Carl Urban was a villain in that one too, and there's a scene where he steps on Paul Bettany's hand. He literally stepped on his hand by accident and broke 2 of his knuckles, I think.
Some scenes in films, I mean, like what was Django Unchained? I guess Leonardo DiCaprio breaks a glass and
he cuts
blood
himself, literally.
is real blood because he really broke the glass and it cut his hand and he did not stop filming.
And what was it?
Yep.
Tokyo movies. Was it Lord of the Rings? Where
Lord of the Rings.
Helmet, and there was actually a rock underneath the helmet. And he broke his toe. So
he broke his toe and he drops to his knees and screams, and it's a great dramatic scene. But it was really his reaction to breaking his foot.
Funny enough, I mimicked that scene every single time I watched Two Towers.
Right?
Oh,
right?
Remember the scene where Lambert slaps Ripley?
Yep.
She literally slapped Sigourney Weaver. Like she was so like for some reason, Ridley Scott is kind of like a guerrilla filmmaker, so he had them at each other's throats during production of the scene, right?
Yeah.
And apparently, I forget the name of the lady who plays Lambert, got so fed up with Sigourney Weaver that when they did the scene where Sigourney Weaver comes in to when they're doing the inspection of the facehugger, right? She goes up to Sigourney and literally slaps her. You can hear the slap too. Yep. And Sigourney was ready to throw down. They had to pull each other back, and they still kept the scene going.
So this is a flashback that's an important one because it sets up where his character is going into this film. And what you don't realize until later on is how closely these 2 cases are connected. It's kind of important.
Oh yeah.
But Tom's character was totally set up.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. He's a very tragic character. Very, very noir-esque. Again, I do want to hold up Tom Conkle in creating this film. This is the kind of thing that our community talks about all the time, right? Supporting independent filmmakers, and how the whole Hollywood machine doesn't know how to make a good story anymore. Or as I like this is the kind of thing that needs to be supported. That's why I'm doing this rewatch tonight, you know?
Nice. Yeah, I like to call that support the little guy.
Yeah, I mean, it was done on a very low budget, and I swear to you, if I had seen this without hearing his commentary, I would have no idea that this wasn't a big budget film. And this is the kind of thing that I've mentioned many times, where you can make great movies without spending a lot of money. A lot of money is wasted. I would say, 90% of the budget in Hollywood films today is wasted. If they were budget minded, they could make equally good films for a fraction of the cost, and all the rest would be profit.
They're all about spend, and then it's like, oh no, we're over budget. It's like, because you were spending, and on stupid stuff.
So Aged Boomer says they should make an old-fashioned horror movie in this style. Now, there's a couple ways I could take that. If you mean black and white, I can dig that. I can get behind that. If you mean the whole green screen thing, maybe not even necessary. You could do a low budget horror film in the woods, in a cabin, in a hotel. I mean, whatever,
In the woods, in a cabin? You mean a cabin in the woods?
A cabin in the woods. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, if you guys like horror films and you haven't seen Cabin in the Woods.
Yeah. Cabin in the Woods is
if you
both
really
a good movie and a parody at the same time.
So there is a movie like that called Lazarus Project. It's just it's just filmed on one location throughout the whole movie, and it's only 90 minutes, I think. And it stars Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde's pretty cool.
Yeah, she is. She just needs a better agent.
So what do you think, Wolfie? I'm thinking about bringing Boomer in. I'm going to send him a link.
Yeah.
He's got a lot to say,
Hey,
and I
your
feel
stream, man. You bring in who you want. I mean, I
damn
only
right.
interject when
Damn right. I can bring in whomever I want. Screw y'all.
It's that stream, guys. Like I said,
Okay, Netter's the final say in all things. So I'm sending Boomer a link. If Boomer wants to join us, it's up to him now.
Yeah, and it's on the ad now again, so it's gonna take a while for me to catch up.
There is something to be said about black and white. There's a reason that Night of the Living Dead was done in black and white. It didn't have to be. It was in the era of color films. It was specifically done in black and white because.
Did you like his remake?
Pardon me?
Did you like his remake?
There were some things I liked about it, but by and large, not really. The reason that they made the remake was so that Romero could actually make some money off of it because it had fallen into public domain. That's the only reason that I support the remake, because I think the creator deserves to make some money about it. Hey, right. Jaboomer, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I'm watching this movie for the first time. So
most of us are. Well, this is the third time I'm watching it. Second time for Netter, and I understood for most of y'all it would be the first time.
2.5 times.
2.5 times. There you go.
I came in the middle of it the first time.
So
yeah, she caught it halfway through the Midnight's Edge rewatch.
To be fair, I like her as a brunette too. Okay.
I like her both ways. She's pretty damn babified, I gotta say.
But yeah, no, I was just saying I could see them doing like an old school horror movie in the style. It wouldn't even have to necessarily be like, like one of the Universal type monsters, but maybe do like a haunted house movie or something in this style. And you could do it on a low budget. That'd be cool. Yeah. Like House on Haunted Hill, like do a movie like that. Well, I guess if you do a movie like that, then what would be the point?
Honestly, I've said it on your stream before, and I'm gonna repeat myself. I honestly think Hollywood needs to start pivoting to this kind of budget-minded sensibility. Take all the freaking bloat out and start making good films on low budgets. And when you are budget conscious, it forces you to be a little bit more creative, and I think it tends to benefit your films.
Now, Robert Rodriguez, I mean, I know he kind of does things semi-independently, right? So I guess his stuff is on more budget, but maybe I guess the cost of his movies comes from all the actors he hires, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he makes stuff that looks good on a low budget, even going back to El Mariachi. So
Yeah.
So what time's up you on?
Pardon me?
What time are you on?
I am looking at
52, 28, 29, 30, 31,
52, 30, and she's
I'm
sitting in
behind.
the car.
I'm a little behind.
Behind me.
And what's really interesting
Okay,
is
now I'm on 5240.
pay very close attention here. She's in the car. She's just moved over. Those cars going in front of her in the across the alley. Those are Matchbox cars.
What?
I kid you not. That's the kind of thing we're dealing with. If I didn't tell you that, you would never have known.
Who's this character?
This is the guy that
Died in the beginning of the movie.
died earlier on when he came in and she shot him. He was strangling him. This is kind of a her imagination, kind of a memory kind of a thing.
Somebody's an unreliable narrator here.
Yes, exactly. Good point.
It has a horrible mustache, though. It looks like a piece of duct tape over electrical tape with fur.
Come on, so that's the kind of mustache some men can grow. It's like I don't try doing a mustache. Of course, I could probably do one better now than when I was a teenager, but I tend to be clean shaven. Okay.
I'm actually surprised how fast my mustache grows. I find it growing over my lip and I have to trim it. Okay. So this, again, unreliable narrator. This is her memory, right? And now she's waking up from a dream because she had said when she shot him, I have no idea who this guy is. In fact, she was the one who had stabbed him. And he followed her to his office and was trying to warn him. So you see the subterfuge going on here. What's really a big struggle is on successive views of this, and after the commentary, you struggle with what he is not seeing, right? He's immersed in the story. He's seeing it from his point of view. You're seeing it as the third person. So you have access to information he doesn't know. So when he is unaware of things, you're like, no, you're being stupid. And you're like, no, if you were in his situation, you wouldn't be able to see it either,
Bystander syndrome.
Yes.
I told people, you ain't gonna do nothing.
What happens is he thinks he's...
This scene is really creepy.
Oh, right? Talk about a Norman Bates scene.
That's the butler.
Yeah.
What?
That's the butler dressed up like the mother.
Oh
right.
my
the mother's
goodness!
Dead. Remember, she suffocated her.
Is this like the Lex Luthor looking guy?
Yes.
Okay.
I
don't
wouldn't
like
hurt a
this.
fly.
This would get yelled at now in our modern PC culture, though.
It's ableism.
Yes, all sorts of things here. Ableism and
Wait until they find out I'm dead. That's what's weird, right? Talking about himself as though he's her who's dead. I don't know. It's a noodle scrambler. It verges on that David Lynch kind of thing,
You know what? That should be on the front when this person goes see the shrink. It should say "noodle scrambler" on the door.
Noodle scrambler, right?
Tell me the first thoughts you have when you think about your mother. It's like,
I wouldn't hurt a fly.
This is freaky. I'm sorry. I'm not liking this at all. This is
right. Well, you're supposed to feel a little uncomfortable.
This is turning into the Rocky Horror Picture Show. This is not.
So one of the things Tom pointed out is that of course, this film was filmed, and released in 2018. So, he could make a film that's a little bit different than trying to film it in the 40s and 50s, right? There's things you couldn't do, or you'd have to downplay, right? But he pointed out that the source material, the pulp fiction that they were drawing from, was very explicit. So they'd have to tone it down back then,
Oh, yeah.
Here, he has no problem showing a guy dressing as a woman, being a little weird, It's just whatever,
I'm just a sweet transvestite.
Yeah, there's also the implied sex scene in his office at the beginning.
Sexual.
Yeah, this is PG-13. This isn't R. I'll be honest, there was a part of me that was kind of hoping it was a little bit R, but it's not. Hey, well, I'm just being honest, okay? Just being honest.
You know what I thought was interesting about the movie LA Confidential? They made a point that they were, even though it was set in the 50s, they were trying to take structures and things in the 50s that looked as modern as they could to like the modern aesthetic we had now. And I was wondering if we could do if you could do the reverse now, or if you take something that's modern but could also work in like a 1940s or 30s setting.
Well, you think about
and
what we often talk about with the Superman and Batman animated series that have 40s aesthetics and modern aesthetics at the same time, right? Someone's talking on a cell phone, but the cars and the dress is very 40s,
Like, I don't know of any cars made today that
they look like razor blades.
Oh, and another thing I should point out, he took great care with the cars. Even one of the car that he's driving around in was donated from a museum. And he pointed out how important that authenticness was, because not only are settings and the dress and styles of the actors, but the cars are very indicative of the time period, right?
Liking that framing.
Yep.
He's got a gun pointed at her.
Man, you got lucky. She would have grabbed that gun from you.
I like that. That's right. He's dead. Wait a minute. How do you know that?
I just figured from like the way. Screw it. Okay. You forget I have the gun. That's what I would say.
Yeah, you have the gun, but I have the brains, doofus.
Old school lingo.
I do. We're talking over this whole film, so you're missing all the dialogue. There is some great dialogue in here. I am going past recommend. I strongly request that you go back and rewatch this when you have a chance on your own, because honestly, this is a masterpiece. There is some brilliance here, and I'm talking all over it.
Is that a CG car that just pulled up?
No, I think that was the real car.
Okay.
That's the problem. It's so stylized. It's hard to tell what's real and what's not.
I can almost tell. Almost.
Okay, here's
Great line coming up.
Oh yeah. I do want to talk to their little argument there was her trying to cover up him giving away too much. Watch this, yeah. Okay, self-defense.
Pow.
Yep.
Punch. Bam.
And down he goes.
Bam.
This was the first and last time Johnny ever touched a book. That refers back to the dinner thing where he said he's never read a book.
Oh, that's funny.
Look, a good shot.
I see blood too. You wouldn't see that necessarily in one of these older movies.
True.
You see the shot. I mean, it would be violent.
Blood is very important in this film. In fact, we talked over it, but in the scene where he wakes up in the morning after sleeping with the brunette, there's blood in the bed, there's blood on the floor. That's very important, and that'll get explained later on. But you're right. That's pretty graphic for a 40s setting, but for modern film, you don't think much of it, right?
No. I am going to say this: older movies like the original Scarface, the Howard Hawks Scarface, not the one that was directed, not the one by De Palma. That's for the time that got into trouble. That was a very violent film. Now, when you see lots of people getting shot up, but you won't see necessarily the blood coming up. You see like the bullets, hitting them and stuff. And
Netter, what was it you wanted to say?
The butler comes into the room, looks at the dead body, and just says, "Oh, I'm gonna have to clean that up." Like,
it was funny.
Which kind of establishes he's had to deal with this before. This is not the first time.
So is this like so this would be a family that literally has skeletons in the closet, probably, right?
It's funny you should say that. Hold on to that thought.
Can't even catch up to him. That car's going at a parade's pace. You mean to tell me you gotta stop smoking, dude? That's all you need to do. Stop smoking.
Well, it was common back then, right?
Yeah.
Didn't realize how bad it was for your health.
Now, where does this take place? I'm curious. Is this Los Angeles?
Los Angeles, yeah.
Now, I'm curious, Wolf 10. You're out on the West Coast, right? California.
The left coast.
Did I thought I said West Coast. Did I say left
no,
coast?
I'm saying left coast.
Okay. Anyways.
Double on time.
in those city areas, can you like wear a suit without sweating, or is it not as bad as like other places of the country? So I'm curious because I'm always seeing guys wear suits in these movies. Like how hot is it out there?
It's a combination of both.
Okay.
The weather is very selective here.
Let me speak to it from a historic point because, historical reenactor here. So when you wear a suit every day in the summer, in the winter, okay, you get used to it, and if you live in a hot climate, you wear as light a suit as you can, but you get used to it.
Like you could wear a linen suit, maybe.
Ooh, that's a nice sensor right there.
Now she's got a globe, right? This is something that Tom Conkle pointed out. That globe and globes in general appear throughout the film whenever she's in the shot. And the idea being that each time you see it, it's a little bit more off kilter. His world is literally getting turned upside down. And that's what this globe is meant to.
I bet you when he kisses toes, he's like, "This little pig went to market."
I
don't know. I didn't say anything in the stream, and nobody else did, and I'm glad they didn't. But I was like, Tom, there's no doubt that you did this film just so you can do these scenes.
I'm gonna say, as far as the feet, don't give Al ideas, right?
Oh, I know. I just mentioned that. I'm like, don't tell.
No. I'm not even gonna rat out Al because wow. Brittany Powell, wow. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
From head to toe. Let me just say it that way.
Uh-oh.
See that? The spinning, and the world.
Troy, why
upside down.
You warn us that there might be boob slips?
Nope. PG-13. It's all I've watched in slow motion. No, I'm kidding.
This actor, I've seen him in stuff, right? He looks familiar to me.
Who, the Russian guy, the white hair?
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I thought I've seen him in stuff.
Probably.
Maybe he was on Bull as one of the jurors or something, or like a
lot
PPA
of these actors are character actors that I've seen in other things.
Yeah. Yeah, like I keep thinking maybe he was like a prosecuting attorney or something on Bull or something. Like I think I've seen him, or a judge or something.
Typical Russian accent.
Yep. And that's an interesting thing too, right? He's Russian, but he's very capitalistic. It's kind of a weird, wearing a French suit. I mean, there was some thought that went into this.
They got the two ladies next to each other in two different pictures.
Yep.
Two different poses too. I'm going to hazard that one of them is promotional pictures.
Here's another great line. Where's the diamond? All the love I have for you is in that safe. Those are his last words. It's empty. Yup. That's his point.
So that's the thing that always got me. It's like, tell me where this is, or I'll kill you, or whatever. It's like, but if you kill me, then you'll never find out where the thing is.
Yeah. And if I tell you, you're going to kill me anyway. So, F you.
Well, to be fair, in Die Hard, there was that threat being made to the head of the company, remember? And he's like, you tell me the guy, you're just going to have to shoot me. And finally gets frustrated, shoot. Okay, we'll do the other way to get the... So, it would have been easier to get the thing from the boss, but since he wasn't coughing up there, he got frustrated. I'm just going to shoot him and we'll do it the hard way.
But again, in fairness, there is he's going to shoot him anyway. So
what's the point? I know.
What did Benny say in Mommy? I can't. You'll just hurt me more.
I'll be right back. I gotta use the little boomer's room. Okay,
I forgot to ask you what you were sipping on, but go for it.
I had takes two to mango. That little factoid I read at the beginning. That was from the cap.
Yep.
Not the whale. Oh, whale shark.
Fair enough.
I'll be right back. All right.
He's right.
What's that?
A whale shark is the largest fish in the ocean.
Yeah, that's true.
Let me mute myself while I'm up.
By the way, I'm sipping Coke.
With sugar or artificially sweetened?
Artificial.
Good man. Stay away from the sugar. That'll rot your brain and your teeth.
See, I caught it that time. I wasn't that slow on the uptake that time.
Yeah.
Did you know that if you put a can of Coke or pour a can of Coke into your toilet, it'll clean your toilet?
That's true. The acid will. So here is, he's in the car talking to his partner. This is the framing device. This is him telling the story, and everything else we've been watching is kind of a flashback, right?
Nice.
Because we started with the scene, she's alive, take me to the cemetery. And they're driving, and you have no idea what that line means. We still don't, actually. We're not at that point yet. Very typical framing device for a noir film.
That man is so imposing.
Matthew Flynn says it rains every other day here in England. Yeah, and the remaining days it's foggy, right?
So Matthew, you mean to tell me I have to take an umbrella every day with me? Just in case?
Fairness, if you think about it, I don't care where you are on that island. You're not more than an hour's drive from the coast. So yeah, it doesn't surprise me that you guys get a lot of rain.
And it's on that.
That's why it rains so much in Seattle.
Oh goodness. I hear that from people who live in Seattle.
I'll tell you, when Netter and I used to go up to Snoqualmie, I'd say half the time we were there, it was raining. You just get used to it. You just got to expect it. Does make me wonder how they film, movies there when they have to film around, rain.
Oh, I now have to ask because I'm like really like debating on what state to move in because I do plan
Texas.
in 2 years.
I'm telling everybody to go to Texas. That's where we should all meet up. We should all meet up in Texas and then secede from the Union. That's my plan for the future.
my question will always be, so how are the spiders out there?
Well, I don't care how big the spiders are anywhere here in the United States. They're always going to be smaller than they are in Australia. So
So like I was talking about moving out to Arizona until somebody pointed out that there are tarantulas out there. Like, okay, and where are those located? He said they're in the rural part. Okay, now I'll move into the
Honestly,
city.
here's the thing about tarantulas. They're big, they're scary looking. Their bite isn't any worse than a bee sting. You know, and
I
they normally don't
care.
bite.
I respect nature enough to keep arm's length away from it, and I expect nature to do the exact same for me. People tell me that all the time, they're not.
Yeah, but what if the spider's this big? You know?
Don't give me a visual, Troy. I will hurt you.
He's doing a visual of a tarantula. It's like, okay, you've seen the wolf spiders that I've caught.
Yeah. Well, now see, wolf spiders, that's the problem. They're smaller, but their bites go septic really quick, and you can have these big divots in your skin because of the poison.
What I miss? Oh my lord! The creepy
Yikes.
dude has a body.
Yep.
Okay, so what I miss? This is like you love when you're in the movie theater and someone asks like the first right, what I miss? Well, see, this happened, and then this happened,
And then you miss so much more because yeah. So here's what's happening, right?
I need to time step again.
Okay. So we are at 1 hour 13 minutes.
Yep.
1 hour 13 minutes.
Yeah, a little over 1 hour.
And we got the cab driver waiting for him and legs. Legs that go for
Yep,
days.
I'm there. Oh goodness.
Okay.
I am so there.
All legs are created equal.
No, they are not. Trust me. I probably wouldn't be married today if that was true.
Anyways.
Yeah, the first thing he noticed about me was my legs.
Yep, Captain Miniskirt. That's her.
True story. That's how I met my wife.
Oh,
amen. So this is a great little scene. The cop and the cab driver having a conversation.
And the cab driver's a little nervous.
And notice that the cab driver's name is Bert. I feel like that's a callback to.
And what's funny is he's telling the cop that he's waiting for a fare, and they're outside a cemetery, and the cop just kind of looks like, okay, yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. Good luck, Bert. Bert the cab driver, right? Just like It's a Wonderful Life.
That's just too funny.
I caught that. I didn't know if that was intentional. Tom Conkle never mentioned it.
See, now, you'll have to find a way to ask him.
Right?
Lawyers must keep their secrets.
So this is a little bit of insight, right? So she is burying bodies in open graves, right? So that's a great way to make a body disappear. Bury it in a cemetery.
But what she's doing is, the open graves are 6 feet. She's going another 6 feet so that they will never be found.
Yep.
It doesn't look suspicious.
Here comes the police.
Yep. Police are really corrupt. They're the bad guys. That could almost be a commentary from the SJWs today, but that's not.
Well, we've seen that in other.
See, we could have a
like
conversation about corrupt cops. The problem is they want to paint all cops as bad.
Yeah.
Actually, if you're thinking
We
about
can make that conversation about corrupt cops. Yeah, there are some corrupt cops in the police force, which I'm not going to deny that. What I'm saying is
nobody will, especially if you live in Chicago.
generalization.
I'm in the Chicago area, so I totally own that.
Plus, I think with noir movies and stuff, that was a common thing to have corrupt police in those types of movies, right? Yeah, so it's not.
Which is why you had the private detective.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. And the cops hated the private detective, but the private detective was paid by the individual. They were looking out for the individual, right?
Support the little guy.
Well, what is it? You get what you pay for. If the public dollar is paying for it, you get bargain basement bottom, right? If you pay for it yourself, private investigator, you get the service, right?
Yep.
You want even better service, you do it your effing self. And that's why I point to the same thing when you talk about, public school system. You want the bargain basement education for your kids, you send them to public school. You want better education, you send them to private school. You want better still, do it yourself. Homeschool.
You're such a cute kid.
Right?
And he's a great actor.
What I love about this kid is he's a little hard-boiled himself, right? So he knows the lay of the land.
Is he like the street urchin?
Kinda. And
He
and,
should've
and he
been
looks
Barry
up to
Allen.
him. He's like, I know you're the real deal. The cops, the politicians, they're all on the take. But you, I look up to you. You
I
know?
was saying he should have been Barry Allen.
Yeah.
Yeah, the kid's probably on his own too, right? He has to sell several papers a day just to pay his horrible
I just gotta say,
adopted
she's got great hair.
hair.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, hair's nice.
The hair is real.
It is. And it's styled perfectly.
And here she's talking about there's no body at the house because she looked for it. And he says, well, who would have moved it?
Right. Who moved
And
the
I'm
body?
thinking the butler.
Yeah.
He's
Well,
butler did
but
it.
remember, he saw, well, who he thinks is Catherine, right, with the butler, and he's about to spill it all. I follow you.
Matthew Flynn says the spiders over there are smaller than American spiders.
Interesting.
So
Okay,
in
so
Australia, they're Chad spiders.
Here,
Over here we have
here's
virgin
the
spiders.
kind of the big reveal, but only half of it, right? He's mistaken. He thinks Catherine's still alive because he saw Catherine burying the body in the cemetery.
Don't get everything. Oh, my dear.
No. I mean, because we've been talking over it, so many things have been missed. He's basically tipping her hand. He's telling her half the story. She knows the full story because she is Catherine. Twin sisters sort of thing, right? So he's blaming everything on Catherine, but what he's basically not quite keyed into yet, you're the one that I'm looking for, not Catherine. And she knows it's just a matter of time before he figures it out.
That was a great line. It's like, you can't park here. He goes, don't worry, it's not ours.
And that look on his face is like, whose car is it?
Oh, just another day.
So,
Clark Gable staying here?
yeah. There's another
William
How about William
Powell.
Powell?
There's another movie like that where someone drove to an airport and just left their car and they're like, you can't park here. It's like,
We're not parking it, we're abandoning it. Yeah.
Is she snooty? I'm getting that impression. I'm watching
Well,
the
but she kind of has a right to be, right? Because he comes in asking for a couple celebrities. She figures he's just some kind of reporter, some scandal rag type guy. What he was really doing, though, was he was playing a con to get information out of her without her even knowing it. And he's going to explain it in just a second. Her finger hesitated on her finger. Receptionist fingers always hesitate on the name they don't want to reveal.
well, she's not very smart because I wouldn't have even put my fingertips on the list to begin with.
Right. Because Clark Gable and William Powell, you would know if they were staying there. You wouldn't even need to look at the book.
What year is this supposed to take place? They
Sometime
say
in the
anything?
40s.
Yeah, sometime in the 40s. I'm sorry. I don't know exactly. I will say this, though. Tom talks about it, and he points out how much detail he paid so that there are really no anachronisms in this film. I mean, even when they were in the diner, he actually found a diner in LA that was restored to the 40s style, including the silverware and all the accoutrement in it.
There's some bears behind him.
Yeah, I gotta say, wearing a hat like that gives you so many opportunities for emotion, right?
But like how you wear it?
How you wear it, you know, adjusting it, even when you take it off and hold it, you know, it's expressive.
I'd taken it off anyways because that's common courtesy.
That's an excellent point. You're supposed to take off your hat when you go indoors, right? If you don't, sometimes that's a statement, right?
Yep.
Yeah, there was one episode of The Sopranos where Tony's sitting in the restaurant and he sees a guy in a ball cap, and I guess he was having a bad day. And he gets rid of it. He rips the ball cap off the guy's head.
Yeah.
But then he buys him a bottle of wine. Like, okay, just it's all right.
And let me tell you something. I mean, made guys do that, right? Because it's like they get pissed off, but they realize what they're doing, and they're like, "Okay, let me make it up to you."
I still don't want you wearing the hat, but I'll buy you a bottle of wine. I think that's what.
But pay attention to them because they know what they're talking about. They have the courage to say the things that other people won't.
Yeah, don't wear the hat in the restaurant
and pull your
down.
Damn pants up.
Well,
dumbass.
You're asking too much there. Come on now. I don't think pants fit right anymore. Okay.
I love this. She beats the crap out of him with and they're like trying to defend themselves.
Lady, please.
Now they both got guns on him, right? And he laughs.
I had embarrassed a guy at a mall. This was many years ago. And he had his pants down, the way those guys will wear it. And I said, "Can I ask you something?" And he's like, "Yeah, what?" I said, "The way you're wearing your pants, do you think that looks sexy or something? Because, I've got at that time, my daughter was in her 20s. So I'm like, I got a 20-year-old daughter and she thinks that looks so stupid. So I just wanted to ask you why you wear it like that." And he starts tugging his pants up. He goes, "Oh, they just slip. That's all." And then
get a belt, dumbass.
He had a belt, but he had the belt on to keep it right around his butt cheeks.
You know, I sometimes want to ask them.
What?
So, are you a part of the prison culture? Because
I don't seem to understand that's where it comes from.
Yeah.
Because when you wear your pants down like that, that's your invite.
Yep.
Sorry, fine. That makes sense in a disturbed way. Okay.
Because, yeah, I kept my pants up in jail.
Yeah, no invitations here.
You two are very good together. Would you mess with this guy, Troy?
Well, here's the thing. When you're holding a gun on somebody and they are this self-assured, it does make you think twice, doesn't it? This is classic, right? So these guys are saying to him, watch. To use the parlance of chess, you are a pawn, Tate. And you're being removed from the board. And he's about to turn it all around on them. A pawn. In other words, I was way ahead of you people.
I like his coat. Is someone eating Pringles?
Troy's eating pretzel pieces.
Sorry,
Oh,
man.
okay.
Yeah.
No, I don't care.
I'm
I'm just.
Here.
I know that you had the rotisserie Pringles the
for
other
you,
week.
I got
I was
some.
wondering.
Sounds like you beating the Monticelli.
No, she just tossed me a tin cup to put my pretzels into.
No, but I was thinking. No, I was thinking you were eating the rotisserie Pringles the other week, so I was wondering if that's what you're eating now.
Oh, no. These are Snyder of Hanover's.
I got the Cajun fries Pringles. They're not bad.
I'm a traditionalist.
So he's basically said, I sent a bunch of cops to your houses and they have your wives and kids. Your move, people. Oh, by the way, if you want to quote chess moves, checkmate. I love that.
Now,
Now, here's
like
the scene. Okay. That backdrop, all against a green screen. Those trolley cars, the background, the steps they're standing against are all separate elements. Plus, they are shown from different shots depending on what angle they're being looked at. This is an incredible scene when you know the behind the scenes of it.
do you know what TV show used the green screen a lot like this? It was Boardwalk Empire on HBO to show the New Jersey Boardwalk.
Never even realized it.
Yeah, and they say that in the last season, the HBO was cheaping out and not letting them use it as much. They did a lot of indoor scenes, because
By the same token,
yeah,
The Mandalorian uses a lot of. I
Green
mean, you
screen,
could call
yeah.
them green screen, but they're not really green screen. They're really projections behind them. Used the same way you would use a green screen.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., they had a lot of scenes that would take place indoors too. Yeah, you could tell the budgets were. In fact,
that guy right there that's driving the cab is the guy that owns the museum that the car came from. Just a little bit of trivia.
So I tell people all the time, it's like no matter what, like even if you don't have like the best stuff.
I mean, the detail of that trolley car going across the street there, it's just, I think that's brilliant,
Those things can easily hop on.
And I only notice it because I'm paying attention to these details. Otherwise, it's the kind of thing that is part of the ambiance that you wouldn't notice on a first viewing.
Yeah, I got that.
Ads.
I don't know, man. I think this is just a brilliant film.
I'm liking it so far.
I'm curious to watch it in color now, though. I'll say that because I'm just
And that's
with
where
the
Woody
contrast.
Baxter, he just talked about breaking into the other guy's house. He goes, "Don't worry, I didn't touch your crappy brandy." And he goes, "Well, what about this other thing?" He goes, "Oh yeah, that was delicious."
Yeah. Okay, why am I not hearing you guys? You're still there, right?
I'm
I can
here.
hear them.
Can you hear me?
I'm still here.
Both of them.
Did I unmute?
I don't hear Agent Boomer. I'm not hearing Wolfie.
I can
No,
hear
I'm
them.
unmuted.
I'm here.
What did I do that's preventing me from hearing
Did you
anything?
unplug yourself or something?
No.
Did you hit your
I'm
mute
not
on your
muted.
headset?
No.
How about on
I'm
your
not
actual
muted.
headset?
Oh, wait, maybe here.
Adjust your audio settings.
Oh, yeah. The audio on, I don't know. It must just been the way I turned. The cord has a volume on it. It got turned down.
So the ad's cleared. I would like a timestamp, please.
So we're at an hour 31 and 9 seconds, 10 seconds. There's
I'm
a
at
gun,
hour 52.
and
Wait.
they are having
No.
a gunfight in a warehouse
I'm at the same.
museum.
Okay, I'm there.
What are you at?
1 hour 31, 28, 29.
Okay, yeah, that's
30.
where I am. Okay, the guy's trying to open up the
Yeah.
thing. Okay,
Yeah.
so it's not okay. I'm telling you, you could do like a mummy movie, man. Like they're opening up the crate.
I
and the
know,
mummy's
right?
inside. It's like-
Oh yeah, he holds up the vase and gets shot. This is
like-
great. I love this bit.
like there's
Freeze, he shoots at him, right?
Well, yeah, well, you know.
If only we had guns. She opens up her purse, she pulls out a gun for him, she reaches in, pulls out one for herself.
Girls are not insane. We just come equipped.
Hey, you're destroying the valuable artifacts. Come on now.
I was calling the spirit.
This piece belongs in a museum.
I need to watch The Spirit. I have that on Blu-ray. I just never got around to watching it. I know people didn't like it. It looked interesting to me. It had what's her name in it? What is it? Ava Mendes.
Ava
That's her
Mendes.
name. Yeah, I like her.
Yeah, a whole host of women, even Scarlett Johansson.
Who was
right.
the star of that film?
You will never remember. He's a nobody,
Oh, okay.
sadly.
And Samuel Jackson, I think, was the villain, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
the octopus.
Yeah.
Silken Floss is the most beautiful woman in the world.
And so obviously this big diamond is the big MacGuffin of the film.
Is it like Cursed? That they were alluding to that earlier.
I love Cursed. I don't care what anybody say.
Oh, the movie?
Yep.
I don't know if I ever saw it.
Has
It's a very
Joshua Jack-
It's Wes Craven tongue in cheek movie.
It's got Joshua Jackson in it from Fringe.
And Michael Rosenbaum and
Didn't
Jesse Eisenberg.
Wes Craven do Serpent in the Rainbow?
He did.
That's one that I think needs to be part of our whole Universal Monsters verse.
Serpent and the Rainbow. I wouldn't. I would actually like them to do a remake of that, even though I do like the original. But
Louis Saphir. I love that.
Okay, you guys are saying serpent in the rainbow, and I'm hearing koalas in the rainbow.
Koalas in the rain.
no,
No fucks given. Koala, koala.
Serpent and the Rainbow. There were creepy stories about the making of that movie, how things were going wrong.
Doesn't surprise me.
Yes.
Oh, like in Poltergeist 3, where the
Yeah.
people died in that
Yeah.
film because it was
I'm glad you weren't one of them.
well,
They-
that wasn't important enough.
They said like the screenwriter was interested in learning more about voodoo, and he went to some voodoo practitioner. And then they said when he went stark raving mad, they had to send him back to the United States. As soon as he got back to the United States, he was fine and normal, forgot what had happened.
Wow.
I mean,
Yikes.
yeah, there was some creepy stuff on the making of that movie because Wes Craven wanted to shoot it in Haiti, actually, on location.
Cool.
Clearly,
Come to
partner
Haiti,
was-
man. You got to experience all the joys of the love of Haiti.
Yes. Well,
clearly the partner was corrupt. Turns on him.
no. And I don't like his tie. It's a spotted tie or something?
Not just
Mm,
fun.
it's
Those are like
diamond.
little diamonds, I think.
It's a little
don't-
bit loud, yeah.
Oh, maybe there are diamonds on it. Yeah, there's something about it that says something's not
gaudy.
right here.
Yeah.
You can't trust her because, the movie's black and white and she's beautiful. So you can't trust her.
Oh, a lot of shooting going
Look, you
on.
have to ask yourself, is she worth going to the electric chair over, That's not how these things work.
Well, I mean, I kind of hate to ruin the ending for you, but is she worth dying for?
Now she's getting kind of ruthless, isn't she?
No, she just kills indiscriminately.
Matthew Flynn says, there's a lot of weird things happening. A jester survived a shark attack. The shark said he tasted funny.
10 out of 10. Best joke I've heard tonight.
Were there others?
So that's a little detail that Tom Conkle pointed out, that it wasn't a mistake in the filming. It was meant to be a clue. She, as Catherine, sleeps with him the night before. Then, as Jennifer, she shows up and shows him pictures. You saw her last. I'm going to report you to the police, whatever. That's her leverage. But it's not like she had Polaroids back then or digital cameras, right? She literally would have had to have those pictures developed. And so that's an inference that to have those pictures in less than 12 hours, it was a setup. If he's as good a detective as we know he is, he knows that from that point. And that's why he says, where did you get those pictures? Okay. And here he is setting up the dead man switch. If I get killed, this is what I want you to do. Send this to him and do this and that. I guess there is justice.
Okay.
I don't know. Is it just me, or
And it's buffering.
can you tell just by looking at her that that's a wig? You know.
Yeah, well, it could. Well, well, it's not impossible that a woman back then would wear a wig like that to disguise herself.
I'm hearing it.
What?
I love it when Age fumbles on his words.
I am not casting aspersions as to reasons why someone would wear a wig, okay? Because I have seen coworkers and friends wearing wigs, and maybe I've watched too many detective films, but I know, when somebody has alopecia, or when they have when they're
Bad hair day.
Bad hair day. They're going through chemotherapy. I mean, I know some things about them from other cues why they're wearing a wig, and I would never say to a woman, "Hey, your hair looks great. Why are you wearing a wig?" I mean,
Remember Beverly Hills Cop 2 when the criminal was wearing the wig and she shoots the cop and then he pulls the wig off and it's Stallone's ex-wife. Never mind.
Actually, I was thinking about, it was the movie Harlem Nights. Where
Yeah.
the girl takes off the wig and then takes out the padding in her bra, then takes off the fake butt, and then drops the fake leg.
That's not Harlem Nights. That's I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker.
Oh,
That's
I'm
right.
gonna get you, sucker. Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Wolfie knows his movies.
I haven't seen either one of those movies since the 80s. So, I mean, give me a break.
Well, it's the same
Funny
thing with
enough,
the movie
I
Car
was
Wash.
thinking about.
The woman that was in the cab with George Carlin. She sneaks out of the cab, goes into the car wash bathroom, takes off her wig, changes her clothes.
Oh, yeah.
And she looks like a totally different person. So George Carlin just didn't recognize her as the girl that skipped out on his fare.
And again, I do want to point out again, that she's playing a double role here. I mean, this Brittany Powell, when she's a blonde and when she's a brunette, it's not just her hair color and hairstyle. It seems like it's the shape of her face. It's the way she acts. And ow.
Check out Schooner's comment.
Talk about,
What?
stabbed in the heart, right? Talk about literally. You made me do this. The thing that that Tom was saying is, she said that when she read this script, she's like, I totally understand this. She she really does love him and didn't want to do this, but she doesn't see a choice.
Dames. Okay.
Goldie.
Okay,
My
Schooner
name's
Tuna.
Goldie.
I'm guessing patty cake is a reference to Who Framed Roger Rabbit. Am I right?
Come on, Eddie. Where's your sense of humor?
That's probably the best impersonation I've heard you do.
You gotta help me, Eddie. Please.
Oh,
Please,
man.
Eddie, you just gotta help me.
I liked Roger Rabbit.
The Midnight's Edge guys referenced that a couple times.
We'll never get a sequel to Roger Rabbit.
So
I hope we don't.
here's the here's the play. Listen. This was his insurance policy. So he knew at least there was a possibility he was wrong about her. And that's why he wrote this letter.
And earlier you saw the partner opening up the bookcase.
Remember you commented on skeletons in their closet?
Yeah. But
There it
let me
is.
finish, dear. So he opened up the bookcase, but you didn't see him go in because it cut to a different scene where he's doing something.
Yep.
This is what he saw. He saw that grave of Catherine.
Catherine's
Dad
been
was-
dead for a long time.
Yeah, because Dad was really into archaeology. That's why she's buried in the wall like that in a tomb,
Yeah.
like a mummy's tomb.
So she'd been dead all this time, and she literally faked her sister's death, who'd already been dead for years,
Yikes.
and made it look like he was responsible for it.
And apparently her sister committed suicide years ago, and they never told anybody.
Which is not something you want the public to know about. That would be, a shame to the family. And this is also why he didn't wake up in the morning and overslept. He was drained of blood.
Oh,
So it was his own blood that he was seeing in the bed next to him.
Yeah, this was before DNA testing.
Right.
Dun dun dun.
Right. My confession of love and your confession of guilt.
Guilt, yeah.
So that explains the ketchup.
Mm-hmm.
she's dressed in black.
Yep. And that closing scene on her is like, you see, I've done what I had to do, but I'm not happy about it,
Ah, there's the dual role.
Yep.
Yeah.
So how long are these credits going to last?
I don't know, because I don't think Amazon ever lets me get all the way through it. I won't know until the DVD comes. I did order the DVD because I really want to support this as much as I can. I bought 3 copies of Alita Battle Angel.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
4.
4. I'm sorry. 4 copies. My intent was to give them out as gifts. But, I want to support, the things that I love, right? And this was another thing. I while I was literally watching this on Amazon, I went to Amazon and ordered a copy of it. I got DVD because I'm having trouble playing Blu-rays, but and Tom said he would sign it, but I'm not going to bother him with that.
You got a
But
lot
yeah,
of
I think it's a great movie.
A lot of old TV shows on Amazon.
Ew, Underworld Blood Wars. Waste of money.
Is that the one that's coming up to watch next or something? Or
mine
In
is
a way.
Star Trek.
Mine is something called Lore. I have no idea what that is.
Mine
what
is
is
They Are Stood Still, the remake.
Yeah, my next up is Star Trek.
So
Shattered Lives.
I realize that this rewatch, because of the way we've covered it and the way we've gone through it, you really have not had a chance to really experience it.
Really?
I would really encourage all of you, all 8 of you, to maybe tomorrow take the time, rewatch it, and if you would, go to IMDb, go to whatever platform you're watching this on, and give it, if you're so inclined, give it a positive review. I think independent filmmakers like this need to be supported, especially at this time when we're complaining about what Hollywood is doing and their bloated budgets and their waste and their stupid SJW preaching. And then you got a movie like this that's made on a shoestring budget that's done infinitely better than anything that came out in 2020, without beating you over the head with some sort of preachy message that truly honors classic Hollywood and film noir and pulp fiction, right? How good movies could be and should be. I've said this on Boomer's channel. I'm going to say it again. I think this is the future of filmmaking, right? I think Hollywood has had its day and they're past their prime. And now if we're going to be consuming films, it's going to be like this. It's the comics gate of movies, so to speak.
Hopefully.
Anyway, that's just my thought. So please go and support this if you can,
Okay, so now everybody in the chat, tell us what you thought of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, right here, give me your thoughts, to the extent that you were able to focus on the film. What did you think of it?
I loved it.
And Matthew Flynn's already ordered well, I hope you ordered a Region 2 version then. Mr. Britton.
I found the dude in the wig kind of creepy.
As well, you should have. That was intentional. So you received it in the spirit it was intended. That is meant to be very off-putting.
I watched that scene. I'm hearing
right. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille.
You see, I will never hurt a fly.
Yeah. There's definitely that whole psycho vibe to it, right?
What kind of movie
I
do you
didn't even
think?
finish Bates Motel at all after season 4.
The final season had some issues. I did watch the final season.
Are you talking about Bates Motel?
Yeah.
I don't know that there were some things about that movie that were really, really good, but even those really, really good things were really, really off-putting,
Oh yeah.
The one thing I hated is that the mom whined so much. I just wanted to deck her.
And yeah,
well, she's played by. Look who she's played by, Vera Farmiga. That's basically her role in most movies.
And the whole, they took the Oedipus thing to 11, and it's like, wow. I'll tell you. If you're going to do something that's like a prequel to something classic, that's probably the way to do it. It's a way of reframing it in an interesting way, but
see, that was throwing me off, Troy. I wouldn't even go as far to call Bates Motel a prequel to the original Psycho. I think Psycho is still in its own vacuum, while Bates Motel.
Well, it is.
Well,
the final season of Bates Motel does lead into the plot line.
Yeah, they basically retell the story of Psycho
in the final season.
I felt they did a pretty decent job. The only thing was
no.
They they kind of did that recasting, which I was like, yeah, this is
What, Rihanna?
yeah.
I
I
understand why. I understand why they picked Rihanna, because you're looking for like a modern bombshell type actress, and I think she fits that. The trouble was, I thought her acting was a little stiff. That was my main issue. Plus, they didn't even they didn't even really do her story, because they switched it around.
Well, right.
And she's not the one in the shower, which annoyed me.
It's not that crucial because it's not told from her point of view. You're seeing it from a different point of view. But I find it funny that you say she was a little stiff, especially when she ends up dead.
She doesn't, though. That's the point.
Well, yeah. She's supposed
they just have her drive off.
She never learned from Valeria or Battleship. I mean, she never learned from Battleship or Valerian.
Yeah, I
exact same way those movies.
Yeah.
You saw the movie Battleship?
And her giving out action. Yeah, she gives off those action one-liners, and I was laughing.
Oh man.
Oh, I was curious.
I think I saw Battleship
really
too.
got me hooked.
They were like,
I'm sorry, that was a good.
Liam Neeson was in it, right? Liam Neeson was in it. Liam Neeson.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Qui-Gon Jinn
was not all that involved in the movie though. They had like 3 scenes. That's it.
Think we'll ever get a
Taylor Keach.
Think we'll ever get a Qui-Gon Jinn series, Troy?
Oh, jeez.
3 seasons,
Doubtful.
maybe. Young.
I'll tell you what. Favreau and Filoni have done a great job of keeping Qui-Gon alive. I mean, alive in quotes. You know, by using him the way they did in Clone Wars and Rebels and whatnot. I mean, it's very clear that they don't give a flying F about anything but communicating the story they want to tell, you know? Yeah. And the things that were set up in the prequel, it's like, well, that needs to have a payoff, right? You know, that Revenge of the Sith, you know, Qui-Gon has joined the Force. He can explain
now.
Yeah, and you can talk to him and they play it out in the cartoons, and then they go and they say, you know, to Liam Neeson, hey, can you do a voice for us? Yeah, sure. An hour in the studio recording my lines, and I make my money, no problem. Why not? You know, that's how James Earl Jones makes his money. Why not?
Good old James Earl Jones.
Yep. Matthew Flynn is reminding me Sunday morning, of course, over on his channel, we'll be talking about Ben 10 Season 3. We will keep it under 2 hours, won't we, Matthew Flynn? Because I only have a limited amount of time on Sundays. But before we get to that, there's a Saturday rewatch. I believe that's on Big Al's channel.
And I'm cordially invited.
What movie?
I have no idea.
King Kong versus Godzilla.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
the original. Yeah, it'll mostly be Big Al and Wolfie, and Netter and I will be the sidekicks. You know, making
I'm supposed to be on one of Al's streams in the near future. I think we're going to do a UHF. But King Kong versus Godzilla, that's the original one, right?
That's the original one with the monkey suit.
Yeah,
the red
what he said is he says the American version.
I gotta say though, you watch those old Toho films and you see the guys in the suits smashing up buildings.
Yeah.
Come on. Wouldn't you love to do that? That's a job I'd love to have.
No.
I have to say, Troy, I used to have the Godzilla game for the Nintendo GameCube, and it was a fighting game, but you would fight in cities around the world, so you got to destroy stuff, okay?
I love that.
And my favorite city to fight in was Seattle, because I would try to.
You just wanted to destroy Seattle, right?
I wanted. Well, no, I mean back then the Space Needle. I don't know if this
Right?
is true of the construction. That building in particular was hard to knock down in the Godzilla games. If you knocked down, you felt like you accomplished something. The Space Needle was tough. London, they had one stage in London. London, those old buildings, they crumble like nothing. Like when you go by them.
Wow.
I miss
Sorry,
them.
Matthew.
Look, kids, Big Ben Parliament.
No, yeah, London was a city. They had cities because I think it was made by whatever was left of Atari at that point. But they had of course, they had Japanese cities in it because it's a.
Well, did you
they
played
American
Rampage
cities.
at some point, right?
Yeah, I remember Rampage. Yeah,
Right?
did you see the movie?
Yes,
I
I
I own
actually
it.
really
Yeah.
liked that movie. I swear, through the whole movie, I was like, I can't believe I'm enjoying this movie so much. This is a video game turned into a movie, and they did a good job.
I think it's one of the best video game adaptations
Right?
I've ever seen.
They did a
yes.
great job implementing the game mechanics in that movie, except for the flying.
Yes.
Well, Ralph was the only one that was flying.
It's
Technically.
like they took a game, extrapolated a story, told that story, and yet still nodded to the game enough that fans of the game were like, I see what they're doing here, you know?
Yeah, I'm like, okay, you got them climb on the buildings. They did that in the game. You got them smashing up army vehicles. They did that in the game too. You got the one scene where George eats that one lady in such a gratuitous way. I celebrate that scene because that was in the game. He tosses her up in the air and lets her fall into his mouth. I was like, yes.
And I swear that, you know, I wish after seeing that, I wish they would do films like, I don't know, I'd like to see a Donkey Kong movie like that, right? About a plumber and a princess. I don't know.
No,
there's a way they could do it.
Excuse
you know,
me. In Donkey Kong, she's not a princess. Okay,
she's the mayor now.
Well, Pauline is now the mayor, yes, but no, you're thinking of Princess Toadstool, Princess Peach. You're not thinking of Donkey Kong. She wasn't a princess.
I don't know.
That was a different woman. That was a different woman.
Mhm.
That wasn't the one from the Super Mario games.
Oh, so what you're saying is Mario was a playa, is what you're saying. Hey, you know, he was Italian. I can see it. Okay.
It's funny. I have
He
one of the
came from Pauline to Daisy to Peach.
yes, Princess Daisy, who's the doubles partner for Princess Peach. Yes. What was I going to say though? No, it was funny though. In one of the Donkey Kong games I got for the DS, like the Mario versus Donkey Kong games, everything's normal because Donkey Kong, he's kind of a good guy now, but then he sees Pauline at some unveiling of a factory, and like she's cutting the ribbon with Mario, and basically he goes nuts and kidnaps her again.
Oh,
It's funny.
It's like the ex-boyfriend. I'll tell you what, that actually sounds to me a little bit like Cobra Kai, right? The bad guy becomes the good guy, but he's still got his issues.
Matthew Flynn, he's asking me what the name of that Godzilla game was. I believe.
Gave him the answer.
Oh, okay, I was about to say, yeah, Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, right? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that.
Yeah.
Well,
you
these
said
guys,
the
you
name
know, their
proper.
games.
I think
don't
they
know.
threw Melee on there to capitalize on the success of Smash Brothers. But yeah.
I don't know. I just remember Commodore games like Chessmaster 3000 and Archon, and you know.
I remember. Archon. Did you ever play Battle Chess?
I did.
Yeah. How about
I
you, Troy?
probably did. I don't.
That was
remember.
one that it had all these little animations when you would have the pieces attack each other, and they would differ based on which piece was What?
Can I describe it?
Sure.
Wasn't the Rook a golem?
I think so. Yeah. You got, that's
Yeah,
right. He
makes
turns
sense.
into a golem. Yes.
So you have the smoking hot queen that does magic.
Oh yeah.
The king pulls out a pistol. The knight, if you put knight against knight, they reenact the Black Knight from Monty Python and the Holy Grail.
Yes, where they chop the arms and legs off. Yes.
Yep, and the bishop does magic too. He's a wizard, but like yeah.
I like the fact the king had a gun. I forgot that. Yes, he just
look. I love it when you put the pawn in front. The pawn is like this dude with the spear. He's just like doing all these martial arts moves, and the king just says, he just pulls out the pill. Bop, 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 bop.
Netter, what were you gonna say?
I It's like I'm gonna really go back there. Zork.
Zork. I'm gonna stab the troll with the nasty knife.
Oh, you want to know something funny, Troy? In one of the Call of Duty games, like
Mhm.
I think it was the first Black Ops game, you wake up and you're in this room and there's a computer there. If you go over to the computer and type in, I think, the right command, you get the old Zork game. You know, the text adventure
Wow.
Zork game.
I love that game. That was, in fact, Netter and I talk about that game like kind of on a daily basis because every time we get ready for bed, you know, we're in the basement with the lights on, and I'll let her go up the stairs first because I gotta stay at the bottom of the stairs till she gets on the stairs before I turn off the light because she might get eaten by a grue, right?
Oh, I remember that. Oh, I remember those Infocom games. They had one based on Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
I remember that one
and that
too.
was it was written by Douglas Adams himself too. He wrote it. He wrote the text for it.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I remember
You guys remember Leisure Suit Larry?
Oh yeah,
I could never
remember
play
the
that game.
Xbox version.
Yeah, but the old PC games, they had Leisure Suit Larry games. I used to play Space Quest though. I remember Space Quest.
What was that one where you with the dungeon and you were, it was kind of like all pixelated and you had to pick up a sword and kill a dragon?
That was on the Atari 2600. It was a game called Adventure. That was the first game I ever encountered that had like hidden rooms and little secret things to find that weren't really part of the game. Yeah, I love that.
Don't forget that Ready Player One references it.
That's right.
I haven't read that book.
What about the movie? Have you seen the movie?
No.
It's
I was talking
Spielberg.
about the movie.
That doesn't make it good.
Well, that doesn't make it good.
Short answer: it wasn't.
Was Kathleen Kennedy a part of it in any way?
Oh, probably. I didn't
No.
See?
No, at that point, no, she'd moved on to Lucasfilm. I didn't hate Ready Player One, but I went into it with low expectations.
Well, I had heard people say that if you like the movie, you'd like the book better. So I feel like I really should.
I like the actor who looked like the Doctor Doom wannabe guy in it. I know that he's a comedic actor who I think got into trouble in the Me Too movement. I think he called him a bomb threat, but he used to be on that show Silicon Valley. I think
That's
he's a
so
funny
redundant of you. We know that just being a comedian in the 21st century means you're gonna get canceled because you're not allowed to have a sense of humor.
Oh,
You're not allowed to make parody. You're not allowed to, nothing.
the actor who was in Deadpool. He ran the bar where all the mercs
T.J.
sat
Miller.
down. Yeah.
Your face is just haunting.
Your
like,
face looks like a
like a rotten
avocado.
avocado had sex with another avocado.
I know I'm sorry. He's funny. Whenever he delivers a line, I laugh. I don't know. His career might be over now, though. I think he called.
They actually said that he and Ryan Reynolds have so much footage of stuff that they went off on and did improv on. They're like, some of it got so bad we couldn't use it even in an R-rated movie.
No, I just shared something in the private chat. Is this the version you played?
Let me see. Private chat. Open in new tab.
I remember.
I have seen this. Yes, I did
That's the one
play
I
this.
watched my grandpa play.
Mine didn't look quite as good because we had a more basic PC at the time, but even that looked pretty good.
I do remember that. That was crazy. I loved that. And I mean, it wasn't, they called it battle chess because they had all these moves. When you take a piece, they'd go through an animation, but really it was just regular chess.
Pretty much.
It's not
But you
like
would play it for those animations.
the difference was with Archon, when you took a piece in a normal chess move, there was still the opportunity to fight between those two pieces in an arcade style. So, just because you took the piece didn't mean you automatically won, By the way, guys, I didn't. My beautiful enabler got for me a Dejeric table from the Disney theme park thing, online, exclusive to the parks, but you can get it online.
Yeah,
no one could go to the parks.
You're as good as Miles. I can work for it because I've never been to Disneyland.
Anyway, she got it for me for Christmas, so I actually have a Dejeric table, and I'm thinking about, because I am planning to get a 3D printer. I'm planning to reprint those chess pieces in like a translucent resin.
Are there actual rules to that game that somebody's made up?
There absolutely are. It's a round chessboard, and you literally can move off one side and come back on the other. And yeah, it's going to take me some time to figure out. I haven't quite learned it yet, but yes, there are rules. Also, the Sabak deck is something that was put out for when they did what's it called? The Solo film. So I got that too, just because I had made my own Sabak deck from the role-playing game, but I kind of wanted something that was a little bit more professional looking.
No, I have to pull Professor Geek.
Oh, you got to run to the
bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know if you meant you had to run to the washroom, or you were going to start, bitching at me for giving money to Disney.
No.
I could have gone either way. I mean, in context.
Well, technically, you probably gave it to somebody who gave money to Disney, so technically you didn't. But
Exactly. Yeah. Either way, but I not that I'm as sunny and positive as Big Al, but I really do feel like you really have to, at some point, just start enjoying some things for a change.
It's not allowed.
Yeah, fuck it. It's all bad, and you should feel horrible about it.
All the time.
Should never spend your money on anything anymore because it gives money to bad people. So just don't enjoy anything, people.
No, you
boycott everything.
You can buy old used NES games that you have to clean about 20 times, and they still don't work.
I just watched today over on Retro Blasting. I watched, it must have been a half-hour video of him restoring one of those 76 mail away displays for the original 12 figures.
Oh,
yeah, it's a good video. I mean, I was really impressed with it. He was trying to go as authentic as possible. So, like, there was a couple pieces that were broken, and he literally bought originals, not replicas.
And I'm back. What I miss?
Oh, sorry.
Talking
guys.
about fixing the mail away.
But yeah. And
Anyway.
what I've been doing is I've been retreating a little bit back into my childhood, and I've pulled out all my old comics. I'm going through and cataloging them so that I can, it seems like it's been on a weekly basis now, go back to my comic book store and just look for old back issues to try and fill in some of my gaps.
I'm still filling up my Badgers.
Yeah. Netter reads a comic book called Badger, which has been over like 3 or 4 different comic book companies that published it. It's very much in the same vein of like Deadpool, but it's a really good comic, and she
the guy's
enjoys
got
it.
multiple personality disorder, and in his badass thing, he's the Badger, but then he's got another personality where he's an interior decorator. So it's like totally.
Yeah, multiple personality. One of them's gay. One of them's insane. Yeah, it's just crazy. Matthew Smith says, anyone ever played Golden Axe? Yeah, I played it in the arcade. If it was ever, in some sort of a home video kind of thing, I never
Sega.
Sega Genesis, yeah.
Was it any good? Because I loved it on the arcade.
They did a pretty good job. That was one of their big selling points when they released it. You can have the arcade at home, and it not. Of course, it's not going to look quite as good as the arcade, but it looked good. It looked close enough,
Yeah, that's pretty much why I bought the Atari 2600
version better.
Yeah,
that's why I bought the Atari 2600, because as a kid in the late 70s, early 80s, I wanted to play like Space Invaders, but you'd have these bigger kids in front of you with quarters just lined up, and it's like, I'm never going to get to play. So literally my family, my uncle, my grandmother, and my mother all put in together to buy me an Atari 2600, because it was like, that was the only way I was going to get to play these games. And it was great, but it wasn't really quite the same, you know.
No, the graphics were different. Yeah.
Yeah. And the reactions were different. You're using a joystick instead of the buttons. There was a lot of little differences.
Yeah.
In fact, that's a lot of modern gamers are talking about, you know, kind of building their own home arcades.
Yeah.
And like you'll see like the that reproduction Star Wars arcade game, you know.
Yes.
And people are talking about how to customize it, make it even more closer to the original arcade. And it's like you get to a point where it's like so
many
close.
coins I sacrificed to that arcade.
Yeah. At some point you're so close to authentic. It's like, okay, now you're just kind of, you know, obsessing because it's good enough as it is, you know.
No, people are like, these buttons are good, but they're not the original Japanese buttons that would be on these things over in Japan. So you have to go out to this company and you have to go. I've seen videos like this. I'm picking up people.
I know.
Like
because there was and a lot of videos have talked about this. Those controls on that arcade game were just, there was nothing like it. I mean, honestly, I don't think there was any other arcade game that used that control, right? You had the buttons on the thumbs, the buttons on the fingers, because you had 4 different, you know, to fire, right? Because you had an X-wing, and you up and down and left and right, and it was as close as you could get to flying an X-wing, you know.
I should send you this video sometime. I have this this guy was in Japan. He was visiting the arcades around there, and he actually found the Star Wars arcade game, one of those Japanese arcades over there right now. And he got really excited because, you know, he said, I remember this when I was a kid, you know, and he was like, you know.
Yeah. And a lot of people will even say, you know, those vector graphics, you know, were, I mean, they're nothing like what you have today, but back then it had that 3D.
You can play them on Rogue Squadron 3 Rebel Strike, actually.
Well,
they did include all 3 of the Star Wars arcade games in that as unlockables. It's kind of funny because I think Darth Vader does something funny when you have to unlock them too. I don't know if he does a dance or something. I don't know. But in
the startup of the game, they do all the characters doing a disco dance. It's weird.
I remember that.
You can control Darth Vader in that area.
Oh, right. Okay.
The hidden area.
So. The hidden arcade area. But what did I want to say, though? They vector graphics, I think they were able to emulate them in the GameCube, but those were really of that time and that kind of hardware. Like they didn't go with pixels for those style of games. Like I'm thinking of the movie The Last Starfighter. The game he was playing in that used vector graphics, right? As I recall.
I think so, yeah.
Let
me tell you, I know that you can get a download, and I just haven't been able to get the emulator to work right. There's somebody has put out a version of Space Paranoids from Tron.
Oh, really?
Yes, and I want to play it so badly, but I can't get the emulator to work right. It's just frustrating, and I'm just too much of a boomer to figure it out.
One could probably get together a list of fictional games that I always wanted to play, especially that the Last Starfighter arcade.
Yeah, that's up.
And
there.
let me tell you, in the modern day, people have done their own custom games of those. They exist out there somewhere. I can guarantee you that.
Does someone have the Bishop of Battle from that Nightmares horror movie where they did the different anthology shorts, and one is about Emilio Estevez as like a obsessive gamer in the early 80s, and he wants to go against the
I
Bishop.
have no idea what you're talking about.
It's a fascinating. He like it starts out like he's hustling people, saying, "Oh, I'm no good at these games." Like he's a great gamer. Like he's like, "Oh, they're saying he's the best he ever was," but like no one can get to level 13 of the Bishop of Battle. Get it level 13. Unlucky, you know. You don't want to get. And I'm not going to spoil what happens, okay? But like he's becoming obsessed with the game. He's not hanging out with his friends. His grades are slipping because he wants to beat the Bishop of Battle. I'm not going to say how it ends, okay? It's a good little like it's like a Twilight. It's like a Twilight Zone type of thing, you know.
In short, it's Hollywood's depiction of gamers.
Yeah,
at the time.
Yeah, well, this is back when the arcade was the big thing. But listen, guys, I gotta get to bed. I gotta work in the morning.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think it's getting to be about time for me to wrap this up because it's morning here now by 9 minutes.
Oh, okay.
So I need to get to
10
bed
over here.
so I can get to the comic book store. I can get to the booze shop so I can get some supplies for next week. What do we do next week? I was, I've been talking in the various groups, and I've gotten a lot of very, very positive responses to the fixing the Universal monsters. But I'm also kind of feeling like I've been neglecting, fixing the DC universe. And I think we should really be talking about that, especially now that the Snyderverse is out and everything.
Okay.
So I was thinking maybe we should think about, we could do a rewatch of the pilot episode of Smallville.
All right.
I don't know how available that is out there, but I might
We'll figure a way out. That might be a way, yeah.
And of course, if you guys want to support Troy's channel, he's got a link to my PayPal.
Yeah, I'm sitting here all sober, guys, because I just don't have enough booze. So there's a link there. Money. If you want to buy me a drink, buy Netter a drink, because let's face it, married to me, she needs it. If you guys want to support me in any way, I'd super appreciate it. It's not necessary. I just love hanging out with you guys, but I'm not gonna say no to, if you want to buy me a drink, that'd be great. But
we don't have enough subscribers yet to do super chat.
Yeah, I'm at 190 subscribers. That's like 20% of what I need. I'm
getting
nowhere
there.
Near. So
I got 72 subscribers now.
I still got.
So and honestly, I have no faith in. I have no faith in the platform anyway, so I'm not really expecting to see any kind of ad revenue or anything like that. Let's face it, every one of my streams would get flagged for something anyway. So
yeah, like you're singing of Werewolves of London.
Yeah, that is why I took it down off of YouTube.
All right.
I was surprised when I saw that. I was like, there is no way I freaking sang.
You just edit that portion out and put it back up. Oh no, wait, you can't. That's right.
I wouldn't do that on YouTube.
You can't. They won't let you. I think upload thing past 20 minutes.
Yeah,
that's another thing you got to deal with.
There's a reason I'm taking it off of YouTube. There's no reason for me to put it back up.
Put it on Rumble.
It's already on Rumble.
There you go. All right.
So and I just and I got that one, and I got the rewatch for Dracula Untold up on Rumble. And I haven't gotten around to it, but I'm going to put the original stream for the Fixing the Universal Monsters up there as well.
Oh, and for anyone interested on my channel, I did put up a good old day segment where Troy and I talk about board games such as Dark Tower, so you can check that out.
Tell me about the good old days. Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Whenever
you do a Van Helsing rewatch, I'll be. See, I think you, Matthew, and a couple of other peoples have a couple other peoples has recommended a rewatch of Van Helsing, and I'm afraid I'm going to have to do it just because I love y'all, but I don't remember enjoying that movie that much.
Well, we can put out the whole point is to point out what was working, what wasn't. Okay,
kind of the way we did with Dracula Untold.
Yes,
it didn't really work, but here's
Pretty
what
much.
we could do with it. I don't know. I think there's more what didn't work than what did work. I'm not sure.
It's also a lot about what is this movie ripping off, which I could go on a litany of.
And if we're going to pick apart the whole Dark Universe attempts, that was one of the first attempts. And then Dracula Untold was a completely separate one that didn't work, as was The Mummy, as was The Werewolf. All of those were completely separate, unrelated attempts at a shared monsterverse, and none of them worked.
Yeah.
That movie was coming off the heels of Rising Star, Hugh Jackman.
Yes,
at
that's
that
right.
point.
And Kate Beckinsale was in that too, from the Underworld movies, and she's
Yes.
in other things.
Yeah, but he was casting a shadow. You barely noticed her.
I know.
And she was she one of the Vampire's Brides or
She
something
was-
like
No,
that?
she was the vampire
No, she-
hunter. Or
Yeah,
the
she was
werewolf
one
hunter, or whatever.
she was a family of vampire hunters.
Gosh, I've got that movie and I haven't watched it since it came out. I
Well,
swear.
All
I don't
right.
even remember. In fact, part of me wasn't that the one that they did an animated prequel
Yes.
with the
Mhm.
Hunchback. That actually wasn't
The
bad.
London Project.
Yeah,
I should
that
watch
actually
that.
wasn't bad. I actually like that better than the movie. Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that too. You're right. Okay, we'll probably get around to doing that eventually, but I'm thinking next week something DC related. I'm kind of leaning towards, Smallville pilot episode.
Okay, cool.
Well, because I still insist that Superman needs to be the cornerstone of any DC universe.
Well,
But Sunday we'll probably be talking a little bit about the Snyderverse and what's going on over there. That's a clusterfuck. Holy crap.
yeah, I'll have some things to say. We'll get to it. And okay, cool.
Yeah, so tomorrow night over on Big Al's, we got a kaiju fight. Sunday morning over on Matthew Flynn's channel for Ben 10.
Is it Ben 10 or Transformers?
Nope, it's Ben 10, season
Oh.
3. Age of Boomer in the evening for Geeky Geezers. And Wolfie, do we have something after us on Sunday night?
I don't have Match has Arkham Asylum. I don't know if he's gonna commit to it because he's got some personal things to deal with.
Okay, so there's
Yeah,
always a
supposedly he's doing
possibility.
that,
We'll
but we
we'll
don't-
keep you up to date, and if there's a Matchstick link, we'll drop it during our stream. Okay.
Yeah.
And that gets us through the weekend, and you guys know what's going on throughout the rest of the week. So
We got
there we have it.
Wolverine movies to talk about on Tuesday.
Yep.
Cool.
Any last words from you guys?
Wolfie.
Wolfie? Last words from you, Wolfie. Wolfie, thanks so much. I'll see you in the green room.
See you
Age of
guys
Boomer?
later. I'm gonna head on out, but you have a good night. All right.
You're heading out straight away. Okay,
Yeah,
take care.
That's all right.
Age of
Unless you have
Boomer.
something. Okay. Yeah,
Nope. Take care.
All right. Bye.
And to all the rest of you, I just want to say thank you so much for being here. I super appreciate it. You guys, I'll tell you, Netter and I have had our struggles with this whole, being hunkered down in our little bunker, but I don't know how we'd get through it without each other. I mean, if we were completely isolated, I don't know what we'd do, but you guys really help. You guys have become kind of our social life, and super appreciate it. You guys are so encouraging. I just appreciate that so much about you guys. You take care, and I'll leave you with this. Bye-bye, baby. Time to hit the road to dreamland. Don't cry, baby. It was divine, but the rooster has finally crowed. Time to hit the road. Time to hit the road. Good night, all. Bye-bye.